I'm in the world, but not of it. I praise God every day and I love it. I say what I want and I say what they want. I stand for the truth and what's right and they don't. Life is simple, it's no puzzle. Common sense will tell you not to wear a muzzle. Fear no evil, trust no people. When in doubt, shout, I'm a believer. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me.
I offend everybody, the left, right, in the middle. Blame my parents because I've been this way since I was little. It used to be normal, now everybody praying to crystals. No wonder why it's so easy for the devil to trick you. They treat you like dogs, hitting muzzles all on your faces, forcing kids to wear them in schools. Doesn't this seem outrageous? They ban Bible scriptures on TikTok.
Let's go to Target! Let's go to Target! Some PlayStations! Let's go to Target!
I'm in the world, but not of it. I praise God every day and I love it. I say what I want and I say what they want. I stand for the truth and what's right and they don't. Life is simple, it's no puzzle. Common sense will tell you not to wear a muzzle. Fear no evil, trust no people. When in doubt, shout, I'm a believer. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me.
I offend everybody, the left, right, in the middle. Blame my parents because I've been this way since I was little. It used to be normal, now everybody praying to crystals. No wonder why it's so easy for the devil to trick you. They treat you like dogs, hitting muzzles all on your faces, forcing kids to wear them in schools. Doesn't this seem outrageous? They ban Bible scriptures on TikTok.
Let's go to Target! Let's go to Target! Some PlayStations! Let's go to Target!
Ah, ha, ha. I was muted over there. They're all talking about Target. I was explaining why I yelled that in that video in case people don't remember. They were looting all the Targets. Okay, I'm unmuted. I fixed it. People are going to be telling me I'm muted for the next, 2 minutes. All right. It's Monday night. We kicking a week off right. Monday. You got a case of the Mondays? Hold up. My dono bar's a little too close to my head. It's hitting me in the head. Let me fix that. Nope, wrong way. This way. Yeah, that's better. I need a little space for this dono bar. Can't be having a dono bar on my head. Peas on your head, call me a pea head. Bees on my head, but don't call me a bee head. Bruce Lee's on my head, but don't call me a Lee head. Dono bar on my head. I got to get my tree fed. Shout out Andy Milanakis, Schmandy Schmilishmakis. All right. What are we doing today? It's been 2 years now? And every now and then we check in over on what's happening with Israel and Gaza. I try to avoid it because, wartime propaganda, you can't really believe anything you hear. So I don't even really report on Israel and Gaza and Russia and Ukraine too much. We do little updates here and there, but I figured, it's been a while. We're gonna spend some time looking at Israel and Gaza. This is like the Israel episode. Hopefully I don't get canceled. We got some edgy memes in the meme review. And I'm going to try not to say anything that's going to get me canceled. Luckily, the internet, the landscape of the internet has changed. And now I guess you're allowed to, say stuff negatively about Israel. But I'm not going to say only negative things about Israel, guys. I love Israel. I love the Jews. Oh, God, I'm going to get canceled tonight. Marilyn, I'm glad to see you're here. I thought, it was a rough night the other night. I thought maybe Marilyn was gonna leave us, but it's good to see you're still here. All right. So, and it's not just, we're not just going to talk about all the peace treaty. Did Trump end the war? He said he was going to do it day one. He couldn't do it day one, but if this is true, if this peace treaty holds, this ceasefire, if it holds, maybe the war ends. I don't think the war in the Middle East is ever going to end until the world ends. The day that there's peace in the Middle East, it means ish is about to hit the fan. Let's just say that. We all gonna die when there's peace in the Middle East. So don't expect it to last long. That's gonna be my first take. But we're gonna look at all this stuff, and then at the end, it's kind of a meme. Since we're gonna be talking a lot about Israel today. It's kind of a meme. But at the end, we're going to talk about the secret meeting at Jekyll Island where they created the National Reserve, the Federal Reserve, or the National Reserve, whatever the heck it's called. Then they took control of the banks. Now, that had nothing to do with Israel, okay? Don't even get that in your mind. None of those rich, famous, elite guys that go to this secret island meeting in Georgia to take control of the entire banking system for America. None of that had anything to do with Israel, okay? It's just a coincidence that I'm going to be talking about that on the same day that I talk about on the Israel episode. It's just a coincidence, guys. There's no connection there. All right? Just want to make that clear. Some people got what the hell? Why do I start reading Dean's comments out loud before I read them in my head first? I always do that. I need to just stop. Just stop. God. Oh man. All right, so and then also we're going to touch lightly. Like these aren't even like main story news stories. But we're going to touch lightly on Collargate. I know I'm late to the party. But, it's a weekly news show, so sometimes I cover things that may seem stale because it happened less than a week ago, and I know everybody's attention span is super short nowadays. If something happened on Tuesday last week, it's old news now. But Collargate, we'll look at that a little bit. I'm going to have a take that most of you guys are probably going to disagree with. We'll save it. And then also, what was the other thing? Oh, we got last week we talked about what's his name? Bad Bunny, that Puerto Rican guy at the Super Bowl. Oh, I go to the Super Bowl. I go listen to the Bad Bunny. He's a Bad Bunny. I like the Bad Bunny. We're going to talk about the TPUSA counter halftime show option, and how it's a pretty good idea. Because imagine if let's save the takes till we get to the segment, okay? And also in rapid fire news, this could have been a story in itself. There's naked bike rides all over the country, and all of these people need to be arrested and put on a sex offender registry. If you're riding around butt-ass naked, dang-a-lang, flopping in the streets, you're going to jail. But, okay, that's the show plan. Let's get into it right now. Where's my soundboard? Looks like you showered. I showered this morning, and then I went to bed. Y'all are weird. I'm wearing a white tee that I went to work in last night, and I'm going to wear it again to work tonight. How about that? That's what single men do. We wear the same clothes over and over again. Because I don't care. And a jacket. Because it's getting cold. It's that time of the year again. Damn it, man. Summer felt like it. Dude, summer always feels like it lasts like 3 months. It's like, man, summer felt like it was only like 3 months long. It's crazy. Dude, Utah, it's like cold like 9 months out of the year. And now I kind of like it. It just sucks. You got to put on so much clothes to walk outside and walk your dog. You got to like put on 8 layers of clothes. Unfortunately, I don't have that problem anymore. And that's not a problem. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to do that anymore. But yeah, it felt short. It felt like a short summer. Yep. That's a troll comment. All your comments are troll comments, Dean. I don't think you've ever said anything serious in your life. All right. Let's get into this. Just like a quick little update from Wikipedia. Just going to look at Wikipedia. Give us a quick, a rehashing of what happened. We all know, but the Gaza war is an armed conflict in the Gaza Strip and Israel. Fought as part of the unresolved Israeli-Palestinian and Gaza-Israel conflicts dating back to the 20th century. It's been going on forever. Aren't we still in the 20th century? What are we in the 21st century now? Dang, I've been alive in 2 centuries. Making me feel older than a mug. When the war began on October 7th, when Hamas and other Palestinian militant groups launched a surprise attack on Israel, in which 1,195 Israelis and foreign nationals, including 815 civilians, were killed. 251 were taken hostage, with the stated goal of forcing Israel to release Palestinian prisons. Since the start of the Israeli offensive that followed, over 67,000 Palestinians in Gaza have been killed. Cenk said, it's been 70 October 7ths. There's been 70 October 7ths done by Israel. Almost half of them women and children. I watched a documentary, not a documentary, but Tommy G. You know who Tommy G is? I like Tommy G. That's the dude. Tommy G's a goat. But he did an hour-long video on Israel the other day, and he better be watching out. They're gonna be coming for his throat because he was exposing some things. Anyway, almost half of them women and children, and more than 170,000 injured. A study in The Lancet estimated the traumatic injury deaths were undercounted by June 2024, while noting a potentially even larger death toll when indirect deaths are included. The current war follows those of 2008 to 2009, 2012, 2014, and 2021 clashes. That's what I'm saying. even if there is a peace treaty here and it seems nice for like a year or two, cut it off. Cut it off. Cut it off. What are we talking about? There's going to be another conflict in a year or two. You know, it's every like handful of years. Seems like they can't go. That's 3 years. That's 2 years. 2021, there was a 7-year jump there, and then another one 2 years later. On average, it's like every 3 to 4 years, there's another damn war starting over there. So it's not gonna last very long. This peace treaty launched a bombing campaign and invaded Gaza on 27th of October with the stated objectives. I already read all this. Well, no, but it's just repeating it. The wars resulted in a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Israel's tightened blockade cut off basic necessities, causing a severe hunger crisis, malnutrition, and imminent to confirmed famine. As of October 2025, by early 2025, Israel had caused unprecedented destruction in Gaza and made large parts of it uninhabitable, leveling entire cities and destroying hospitals, including children's hospitals, religious and cultural landmarks, educational facilities, agricultural land, and cemeteries. Agricultural land. Making the desert more deserty. Making the desert extra deserty. Aid workers and members of civil society have been detained, tortured, and killed. Apparently, more journalists have died in this conflict than any modern conflict. Allegedly. So there's some like background. We know what's going on, okay? But this article is from October 8th or 9th. So this was earlier in the week. October 8, 2025, from CNN, Israel and Hamas ceasefire agreement. Israel and Hamas have agreed to the first phase of a U.S. brokered ceasefire framework that will allow for the swift release of all hostages held in Gaza, Israeli withdrawal to an agreed point, and the release of some Palestinian prisoners. President Donald Trump said the hostages are likely to be released on Monday. His announcement of the agreement did not address some sticking points in the proposal, including Hamas disarmament and the future governance of Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the agreement was a diplomatic success and a national and moral victory for his country. Hamas thanked Trump and all the mediators involved, Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey. Families of Israeli hostages held in Gaza and hostages previously released by Hamas celebrated the news. Palestinians in Gaza celebrated the agreement, cautiously hoping it will bring an end to Israel's war. Let's watch this real quick while what do I got to do? All right.
Talks were going on all day and into the small hours of the night. Last details being negotiated, according to Hamas, and that was within the last hour or so. That very close is how they described it, and that was just as President Trump was describing it as being very close to the deal being done. Now we have the lines from President Trump saying this, and as he calls it, a historic deal, an unprecedented event has happened, is how President Trump describes it. It's been done. He's describing it as the first phase, an agreement for the release of all the hostages, an agreement that allows for a ceasefire in Gaza. And already we're being told that there are celebratory shots being fired in Gaza, a sense of relief there already. The president describing it as a first step to a durable...
They signed a ceasefire. Quick, everybody fire your weapons into the sky.
and lasting peace. But I think that's one of the stress points here, that this is the first phase. This encompasses only a couple of the 20 points in the larger peace plan. There are things in the President Trump's 20-point peace plan, like Hamas needing to disarm, that it won't have a political future in Gaza. We don't have details on those issues.
Why did it stop in the middle of his sentence? What the heck? Okay. What's NPR saying? Who are the 20 hostages who have been released from Gaza? So anyway, that was earlier in the week. As the week goes on, news keeps coming out, and now it's Monday, and apparently it's real. The hostages have been released. It's real. Israel. The hostages have been released, and Trump has done a speech. Too bad they already nominated all the people for the Nobel Peace Prize. Trump really wanted to get himself a Nobel Peace Prize under his belt, and they screwed him. They'll give one to Obama for nothing. Granted, somebody needs to let Trump know the Nobel Peace Prize doesn't mean anything. It's fake. It's fake. Almost everybody who's ever won it didn't do jack squat. Or they did some evil gobbledygook, commie gobbledygook mess. Don't worry about the dang Nobel Peace Prize, Trump. We did a whole episode about that. We went back in time and we looked at all the winners and what they did and the lack thereof of what they did. It's a joke. It's been a joke for like 60 years. At one point, I guess it was pretty prestigious, but not anymore. What's NPR saying? Tel Aviv, Israel during the October, we already know about October 7th. Remaining hostages were finally released on Monday after more than 2 years in captivity. Following their release, Israel began to release some of the nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners as part of the ceasefire deal with Hamas, many of whom have been serving life sentences in Israeli jails. These are the names and stories of the hostages who were released on Monday. You guys want to read about the stories of the hostages? This is probably not, I don't even know how true any of this, like, Ariel and David, brothers from kibbutz near Oz, were abducted on October 7th along with their wives and children. While their families were freed in earlier deals, the brothers remained in captivity in June 2025. Their mother, Sylvia, said, "I will always try to stay optimistic because there's no other way. I just want them all home." That's my British documentary guy's voice. The second of 7 Avinatan Or, the second of 7 siblings, holds a degree in electrical and computer engineering and worked in high tech. He was kidnapped from the Nova Festival with his partner, Noah Argamani, who was rescued by Israeli forces last year. Footage of the abduction showing Hamas gunmen separating them became a defining image of the October 7th attacks. In March 2025, released hostages delivered a sign of life from him to his family. Enough of that. Enough of that. Dude, why is YouTube going back to the weird name thing they're doing? They're doing the weird name thing again. Do you guys all see that? It's showing me the @ sign and then like your other names. And I don't recognize who people are because I don't know all your other names. I mean, I could tell who Amanda Thomas is because it still says Amanda Thomas. But Matthew doesn't say Matthew. What the? Why everybody got numbers in their dang username? It's stupid. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Dude, they're messing with stuff, and I'm tired of it. I can't even, I can't set up raids. It doesn't show me my analytics the right way anymore. They're, like, changing the UI little by little, and I don't like it. I don't like change. Stop messing with stuff, YouTube. Oh, mine is my birthday? Your birthday is... You were born in the year 612? Anyway, bad joke. Anyway. Is this going to play? No, this won't play. Israelis praised Trump from BBC 2 days ago. We're working our way through the week, through the news stories. Israelis praised Trump at huge rally ahead of expected hostage release by Hamas in Gaza. Hundreds of thousands of people have held a rally in Tel Aviv ahead of the expected release of Israeli hostages from Hamas. Addressing the crowds, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said the hostages are coming home and praised Donald Trump for making a Gaza ceasefire and hostage return deal possible. In Gaza, Palestinian officials said about 500,000 people had returned to northern Gaza, which lies in ruins, in the past 2 days following the withdrawal of Israeli troops. Meanwhile, Egypt confirmed it would host a summit on Monday to finalize an agreement aimed at ending the war. I'm trying to find. So let's watch a little video real quick, or a little news report. We need a little visual stimulation.
All throughout the morning, you've been watching President Trump speaking to Israel's parliament after all of the living hostages have now been freed from Gaza.
And he's being praised for getting the peace deal done. Those remaining hostages will be reunited with family.
After 2 harrowing years in darkness and captivity, 20 courageous hostages are returning to the glorious embrace of their family.
I don't know what's courageous about being a hostage, though. Like, I don't know if courageous is the right word there. Maybe resilient. 20 resilient hostages. 20, I don't know. 20 grateful hostages. I don't know. But 20 courageous hostages. What's courageous? It's not like they signed up to be a hostage. They didn't volunteer to be a hostage. There's nothing courageous about that, Trump.
Families, and it is glorious. 28 more precious loved ones are coming home at
I didn't diddle nothing. Stop saying diddled.
last to rest in this sacred soil for all of time. And after so many years of unceasing...
And that's President Donald Trump speaking in Jerusalem for...
Would you guys let him talk for like 20 seconds and you cut him off?
About over an hour as leaders of the Israeli parliament thanked the president for...
It's okay. I have the full thing. But I just want to see what they talking about. What they talking about? Well, wait. Was that today?
Donald Trump started speaking. Chaos erupted on the Knesset floor.
You see how Trump doesn't even flinch? He just kind of glances over. He's like, get him out of here. What the hell's wrong with that guy? Take him out. We don't need him here.
להוציא גם את חבר הכנסת כסיף. להוציא את חבר הכנסת כסיף מהאולם. להוציא אותו מיד.
They're saying Trump, 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 Trump. I have an article. Both sides were chanting Trump in the streets. Assuming it's not propaganda. Remember, everything, you have to take with a grain of salt because it could all be part of the show. So I'm just reporting on what the show is showing us, but I don't know what's really happening. I'm not paid enough for that. But they have both sides chanting Trump in the streets in Israel and in Gaza.
Sorry for that, Mr. President.
Sorry for that, Mr. President. Our bad. Trump's like, no big deal. It tends to happen when I'm here. When I'm around, people get kind of excited.
Please.
That was very efficient.
The president's speech interrupted by...
Dude, he's such a goat, dude. Biden would have shit his pants.
Some protesters holding signs reading genocide and recognize Palestine. You can see they were removed from the room as Prime Minister Netanyahu apologized to President Trump.
And it comes as new video is coming into the newsroom, a powerful moment 2 years in the making. Take a look.
Oh, here's the feel-good story part. Here's the emotional part. They want to get you all emotional now.
An incredibly emotional moment and
Why is she selling Geico? Geico? Geico!
cries between family members as the IDF posting this video of a family becoming whole again as hostage Guy Gilboa.
No, that's his name. Geico. Geico. Assuming those aren't actors and this is real, that's touching. That's nice. I'm happy. It's good news. Of course, I'm gonna make a joke out of everything, and I'm a little cynical. I don't believe anything. So, but if this is real, that's very nice. Thank God that they, praise God that they're being freed and all that stuff. It's good.
Dalal is finally back home.
We're also seeing new videos showing hostages coming off a bus into a massive crowd of people celebrating and welcoming back home. They were being transported to the hospital before reuniting with family.
And those buses carrying Palestinians released from Israeli prisons as part of the peace deal also arriving in Gaza. This is video from the moment those buses arrived at the West Bank, also surrounded by massive crowds.
What if you were prepared?
Dude, shut up, Ad. Dude, the Palestinians are crazy. What are the other videos I got? President Trump to speak at Knesset. This is the full. It's actually the full thing is like 2.5 hours long. This is only half of it. Where's the like outbreak part?
It should now be clear to everyone throughout the region that decades of fomenting terrorism and extremism, jihadism and anti-Semitism have not worked. They haven't worked. They've been a disaster. They've just killed. They've killed. They've backfired completely and totally. They've just totally backfired. Everything that you thought, take it worst case, it's turned out to be worse than that. They have not worked. From Gaza to Iran, those bitter hatreds have delivered nothing but misery, suffering, failure, and death. They've served not to weaken Israel, but to annihilate the very forces that did the most to foment this hatred. And it's really, everybody that's tried it has become irrelevant. Meanwhile, we've seen those nations that set aside their differences, reached across ancient divides, and pursued engagement are now among the most successful in the region. They're getting along with Israel, and they're doing great. And I can tell you the 4 nations that joined the Abraham Accords early on, and you'd all be doing me a favor, and I'm going to be saying this in a little while to some other friends, would love you all to, is this right, Jared? Join up in the Abraham Accords. We have to join up and get together. You can have that whole thing filled out. We had a very weak administration, worst president in the history of our country by far.
Let's go.
And Barack Obama was not far behind, by the way. And they did nothing with this incredible document, the Abraham Accords, but now you can fill them up. Now you have peace, you have people that really like Israel. I'll tell you what, and they like Israel a lot more today than they did even 5 weeks ago. You've made a lot of, you've come back. You've come back strong because it was getting to be a little nasty out there in the world, and ultimately the world wins. You can't beat the world. Or I would say to
Yeah, ask Hitler. You can't beat the world. He started a war. Well, who did he start a war against? The world. And then a little while later, he decided to go to war again. Well, who did he go to war against the second time? The world.
Bibi, it's now time, and he understood it better than anybody, because ultimately, the world's a very big place. And I've said a lot. I said, This piece of land is very small. It's unbelievable what you've done with that tiny. You look at a map even of just not the world, the Middle East, and you have this little dot. And think of what you've done. It's incredible.
All right. Okay, so this is the article I was talking about from New York Post. Gazans join Israelis in chanting Trump's name over ceasefire. Nobel Prize to Trump. Was I wrong? Maybe, I thought the time where they were nominating people was over. Maybe he still has a chance. Again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your Nobel Prize is. Jubilant locals in both Gaza and Israel took to the streets early Thursday to celebrate President Trump for his role in the historic ceasefire deal, with many calling for him to get the Nobel Peace Prize. Dude, if there's still time for him to be nominated, there's no way he doesn't win. If he doesn't win, it already proves what I already know, which is the Nobel Prize is a piece of trash. It's worthless. It doesn't mean anything. Even if he wins, I'm still going to think it doesn't mean anything. But if he doesn't win, I know for sure it doesn't mean anything. Who are they going to give it to? There's some lady that's always on Piers Morgan's show, some Israel lady. I don't know who she is. But she's nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. And a month ago, they were saying she was like a warlord. So I don't even get it. It's never Israel's fault. Never. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. When we talk about Jekyll Island, they had nothing to do with the Federal Reserve and taking control of all the banks in America. They had nothing to do with that, guys. All right? It's just a coincidence that I'm going to talk about Jekyll Island, the creature from Jekyll Island. You know what the creature from Jekyll Island is? It's a giant octopus. It has nothing to do with, but it has nothing to do with Israel, guys. It's just this big octopus that has its tentacles around every part of manufacturing, media, entertainment, medical. Just a tentacle creature crawled up out of Jekyll Island, Georgia, during a secret meeting. But it has nothing to do with Israel, okay? Jeez. Donald Trump. Residents in Gaza could be heard cheering after the news broke Wednesday night. People celebrate following the announcement. We got some pictures. Where is this at? Is this in America? He's got an American flag and American flag shirt. This is probably in Israel, and this dude's more patriotic than a lot of Americans I know. People celebrate in Tel Aviv after it was announced that Israel and Hamas agreed on the first phase of the Gaza peace plan. First phase. So it's not over yet. We still got more. What is this? It looks like an ad. Nobel Prize to Trump. Those in Tel Aviv's Hostage Square. Hostage Square? We have a place in Tel Aviv called Hostage Square. Cheered as they waved American flags and danced. Trump's plan calls for immediate ceasefire, and then they all start shooting into the air. An exchange for all the 48 hostages, a staged withdrawal of the Israeli army from Gaza, the disarmament of Hamas, and the creation of a transitional government spearheaded by an international body. That last part seems interesting. Trump is already on the nominee list? Oh, okay. Oh, then I guess I was wrong. I thought they already picked the nominees. But cool. The exchange portion of the deal would see the hostages swapped for nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. We're trading 48 for 2,000. Doesn't quite seem equal. Many of whom are serving life sentences in Israeli prisons. Humanitarian aid will also be allowed to flood in during the ceasefire. Guys, hold on. My stomach isn't sitting right, so listen to Trump for a couple minutes. I'll be right back.
It's incredible. But the world is loving Israel again. And I said to people, you know, the world is big and it's strong. And Ron, ultimately, the world wins. And we don't have to worry about that now. But there was getting to be a period of time over the last few months, you know, the world wanted peace and Israel wanted peace. Everybody did. Everybody did. And what a victory it's been, right? What a victory it's been. If you would have gone on for 3, 4 more years, keep fighting, it was getting bad. It was getting heated. The timing of this is brilliant. And I said, Bibi, you're going to be remembered for this far more than if you kept this thing going, kill. It would be it would not be the same. And I just want to congratulate you for having the courage to say, that's it, we've won. And now let's enjoy our lives and let's rebuild Israel and make it stronger and bigger and better than it's ever been before. You're going to do that. Took a lot of guts. And the choice for Palestinians could not be more clear. This is their chance to turn forever from the path of terror and violence. It's been extreme, to exile the wicked forces of hate that are in their midst. And I think that's going to happen. I've met some people over the last couple of months that want to see it happen very much. And after tremendous pain and death and hardship, now is the time to concentrate on building their people up instead of trying to tear Israel down. We don't want that to happen again. And the total focus of Gazans must be on restoring the fundamentals of stability, safety, dignity, and economic development so they can finally have the better life that their children really do deserve after all these decades of horror. I intend to be a partner in this effort in the sense that we're going to help and we're going to do something that became unbelievably popular. Everybody wants to be on it. It's called the Board of Peace, okay? How about that? Is that a beautiful name? Like a board of peace. The only bad thing from my standpoint, every single nation involved has asked me to be the chair, and I'll tell you, I'm very busy. I didn't count on that, but you know what? If we do it, we'll do it right, and we have unbelievable power and wealth, because you're going to need wealth. You're going to need wealth to rebuild things, and they have wealth like few people have wealth. I want to thank the Arab and Muslim nations for their commitment that they've made to support a safe rebuilding of Gaza and beyond. I have many Arab countries, very wealthy countries, that came up and said, we'll put up tremendous amounts of money to get...
Oh, I know that's not very professional. I got a medical condition, guys. Oh, it's not better right now, but at least maybe that'll stifle it for a little while. We're having some problems right now. 2026, though, Trump could win. Maria Corina Machado, this chick won 2025. Is she the Israel lady? Let me see. How do you spell her name? Maria Corina Machado. What the heck? Former deputy of the National Assembly of Venezuela? Who the hell is this lady? I ain't never even heard of this lady before. She already won? Why Maria Corina Machado says that Trump deserves her Nobel Peace Prize 3 hours ago. The Nobel Peace Prize just surrendered to Trump. From the nation, the Nobel Peace Prize just surrendered to Trump. NPR Nobel Prize winner Machado says Venezuela is in chaos under the current regime. So then why the hell did she get a peace prize? She ain't doing nothing. The New Yorker says Machado says Trump deserves her Nobel Peace Prize. Venezuelans in Doral welcome Maria Corina Machado's Nobel Peace Prize. So she won. When did they declare the winner? Trump speaks with Nobel Peace Prize winner Machado after his CNN. Trump speaks with Nobel Peace Prize winner Machado after his administration denounced the decision to award it to her. U.S. President Donald Trump spoke on Friday with Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Corina Machado after his administration denounced the committee awarding her the honor. Trump has made no secret of his desire to win the prize. A growing number of world leaders have also said he should win the award. Those calls increased as his Gaza peace plan gained momentum in recent days. However, the nomination window closes at the end of January for the year, according to the awards website. So the nomination window's been closed since January of 2025. On Friday, the Nobel Committee announced the 2025 accolade would go to Machado for promoting democratic rights in Venezuela and for her struggle to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy. The person who actually got the Nobel Prize called me and said, "I'm accepting this in honor of you because you really deserve it," the president said. A very nice thing to do. I didn't say, "Then give it to me." Though I think she might have. She was very nice. I've been helping her along the way, Trump added. She only won it because of me. They need a lot. Frankly, I don't think she would have won if it wasn't for me. They need a lot of help in Venezuela. It's a basic disaster. So, and you could also say it was given out for 24, and I was running for office in 24. So yeah, hopefully he'll, I don't care either way, because again, the Nobel Peace Prize is a joke, but maybe he'll get it next year. There's always next year, Trump. Why does it say we have 0 viewers now? What happened? What did I say? I say it like Maryland. What did I say? He will win 2026 if he's on the list again. Yeah, probably. Why does it say I have 0 viewers right now? What happened? Amanda's here, at least. I know that. YouTube, stop it. Stop it, YouTube. Okay, what else we got? We got a couple more articles about this. Trump says, this is from 23 hours ago. So I'm working through the week of the news, right? This is 23 hours ago. Trump says war is over in Gaza as he flies to Israel for release of hostages. Now, maybe jumping the gun a bit. It says 8. I see 7. I see 0. It's telling me 0. I don't know. YouTube's weird. This is going to be an ad. Yeah, I don't care about that. Asked if he would ever visit Gaza, Trump said he would. I'd like to put my feet on it, at least. That means conquer it. Colonize it. Trump said he thought, oh, by the way, I almost forgot. I planned the whole show this morning, and I knew, since earlier in the week, I knew that Columbus Day was on Monday. And then I put the show together, and then afterwards I was like, oh, crap, I forgot to say something about Columbus Day. We always cover Columbus Day. Happy Columbus Day, colonizers. You know? Ain't no Indigenous Peoples Day. What'd y'all do? Eat each other? Not figure out how to domesticate horses or ride on or have a wheel? What'd you do? The only Indigenous peoples I care about is dang Rebecca and Squanto. Who's Rebecca, Josh? You might ask. Rebecca is the Christian name, because you know Christ gives us a new name. The Christian name of Pocahontas when she died. Pocahontas went to England, became a Christian, came back to America, married to John Wolfe with the name Rebecca. Rebecca Wolfe. Not Pocahontas. If you call her Pocahontas, you're dead naming her. And you should not dead name people. You wouldn't call Paul Saul. You wouldn't call Abraham Abram. You wouldn't call Sarah Sarai or whatever her first name was, whatever her beginning name was. Why would you call Pocahontas Pocahontas? You call her Rebecca. All right? Rebecca was based. Pocahontas, not so based. She became based, and then she got the name Rebecca. That's her Christian name when she died. So, shout out Rebecca. Shout out our boy Squanto. Those are the only indigenous people I care about, because today's Columbus Day. This is like our fourth Columbus Day now. I think our first Columbus Day, we read Columbus's journal, especially the part where he talks about how they look like they would make for very nice slaves. He was talking about slaves to Christ, okay? He's on the boat looking at the shore, and he's like, they seem healthy and dumb. They would make for very good slaves for the queen. Or no, he didn't say for the queen. He said they would make for very good slaves. But he's talking about slaves to Christ, okay? Anyway, shout out Columbus. Happy Columbus Day, colonizers. Don't let them discourage you. Thank God we colonized this place. Thank God for the white man colonizing America, making Pocahontas into Rebecca. Once you go white, you ain't gonna fight. That's what they say. I just made that up. But more statues. Yeah, we need more Columbus statues. Remember they were ripping down all the dang Columbus statues? They've been trying to turn Columbus Day into Indigenous Peoples Day for a long time. I'm sure if I looked at Facebook right now, my mayor is probably like, Happy Indigenous Peoples Day, everybody. And I'm sure she didn't say nothing about Columbus. Dude, Columbus was a G. All right, happy Columbus Day, everybody. I think we're good to move on off of this peace deal. What's the time looking like? Yeah, I need to go quick. I need to actually move on, and we need to get through this. We got a couple other... They're in the main news story folder. They could have really been in rapid fire because, I don't know, it's not super interesting. We talked about the Bad Bunny Super Bowl last week. This week I found out that TPUSA is planning on doing a competing Super Bowl show. So this from 2KUTV. Turning Point USA announces All-American halftime show during the Super Bowl. Turning Point USA announced Thursday they would be hosting a halftime show during the Super Bowl called the All-American Halftime Show. It's true. Turning Point USA is thrilled to announce the All-American Halftime Show. The organization announced on social media platform X. Performers and event details coming soon. Linked to the X post is a link where people can fill out a survey of what kind of music they want featured in the halftime show. The options are, number 1, anything in English. That's a nice troll. I like that. Option 2, Americana. Option 3, classic rock. 4, country. 5, hip-hop. 6, pop. 7, worship. Basically, anything that's not in Spanish. How about that? Can we get a halftime show for America's pastime, football, the Super Bowl in America? Can we at least get something in English? It's not a lot to ask. Instead of Shakira, Shakira, even though her hips don't lie, you know. I can't lie either. I don't really mind a little Shakira halftime show, you know what I'm saying? But, oh, baby, when you talk like that, I wanna go by. My hips is perfecto. I want tonight. Okay. I didn't mind Shakira's halftime show, you know, but still, some guy from Puerto Rico that hates America. No, this is cool
because we're going to be able to see we're going to be able to look at the ratings of the Super Bowl, right? You look at the rating line, and it usually when it gets to the halftime show, it pops. A lot of people just tune in for the halftime show and the commercials, okay? But we're going to see it pop for that. Usually it pops for that halftime show. I want to see a line if we put it on a bar graph, you know? I'm thinking about pulling. No, I'm not going to do that. But I would pull up paint and draw you a bar graph. I'll just demonstrate with my hand. A bar graph like this. Ratings. Halftime show. Boom! I want to see it plummet during the halftime show. And then pick right back up after the halftime show for people who are watching the commercials. And when it plummets during the halftime show, you're going to see TPUSA's halftime show go skyrocket up. Send a message. We don't want these dang foreigners in our halftime show, okay? You speak English. Turning Point USA announces counter program Super Bowl halftime show. Conservative advocacy group Turning Point USA has announced a counter program halftime show that will be held during next year's official Super Bowl 55 L is 50. Halftime show 60. X is 10, L is 50. Super Bowl 60 halftime show. The nonprofit founded by the late activist Charlie Kirk, who was killed during a public speaking event on September 10th. By the way, wait. It wasn't a month ago today. I saw a thing on my feed that said a month ago today. And it was a picture of Charlie Kirk at the event. But that wasn't a month ago. That was a month. I don't know. Anyway, it's been about a month. At Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California on February 8th and will be called the All-American Halftime Show. Let's watch this real quick. This is the video where it was announced. I don't know what channel this is. Let's see this.
Well, right now, there's a lot of controversy over the next Super Bowl halftime performance. The NFL named Bad Bunny as the next headliner. The Puerto Rican artist is one of the most streamed artists in the world right now, and his streaming numbers have gone up 26% since the NFL's announcement. But in response, Turning Point USA, this conservative organization co-founded by Charlie Kirk, announcing it will host their own All-American halftime show. So the group has an online poll right now asking people what kind of artists they want instead. One of the choices even says anything in English. So it's expected to happen at the same time as the halftime show. No word yet on who will perform or where it'll take place.
So that's pretty cool. It, I just want to see. If their viewership plummets during the halftime show. That would be funny. It was more than a month, September 10th. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it just showed on my feed today. It said a month ago today. That looked more like Tourette's, not a graph. What I was doing with my hands. That was funny, Dean. Okay, you got one. You got one. You told a joke. It was good. It was a good joke. Okay. Let me close some of these windows. Okay. So, like I said, that could be a rapid fire story. I just needed something to put into the main story news. We got one more story. This also. Wait. One more thing about the thing. There is a article from Hindustan Times. I guess there was a rumor that Kid Rock would headline the Turning Point halftime show, but that is just a rumor that hasn't been confirmed. Kid Rock to headline TPUSA halftime show amid Bad Bunny Super Bowl row. Here's the truth. Many were displeased with Puerto Rican artist Bad Bunny being asked to take the stage. The main issue is that most of the singer's tracks are not in English.
On top of that, Bad Bunny's remarks about skipping U.S. concerts due to the possibility of ICE being outside has not gone down well with conservatives. Well, they're going to be outside the Super Bowl then. Thus, when TPUSA made their announcement, blah, 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 many guessed it would be Creed. Creed? Bro, Creed at the TPUSA halftime show? Let's go. If you don't like Creed, then there's something wrong with you. Hold on. What's the dang song? Dang it. Oh, man, it's on the tip of my tongue. What's a Creed song? Put some lyrics to a Creed song. I'll sing a Creed song for you. Oh, why can't I think of a Creed song? Anyway, dude, we need Creed and Nickelback. We need Creed, Nickelback, and Kid Rock. I feel like I'm in middle school again. Can you take me higher to a place where glory? Thank you, Jeff. There you go. Nice. All right, so there's rumors of Kid Rock, Creed. We need to get Nickelback up there. I don't want to be a rock star. Oh, yeah. With arms wide open. Oh, shoot. Yeah. Oh, wait, no. With arms wide open, under the starlight, take me to this place, I'll show you everything. Okay. I'm done. Stop. With arms wide open, now everything has changed. I'll show you love. Okay, I gotta stop. All right, last story. Hasan, dog Collargate. This guy out here shocking his beautiful dog, by the way. I love that dog. I don't know what kind of dog that is, but that dog is awesome looking. It's huge and fluffy. Where do you get one of those? It looks like it's got some chow in it, but chows are mean. I think Echo had some chow in him, but he wasn't mean. But he just got fluffy, he was like a black fluffy dog when his hair was fluffy. And he kind of looked like he had some chow in him, but he did not have the temperance of a chow. Chows are assholes. Chows are real jerks. Looks like a chow chow? Yeah. But it's fluffier. But anyway, Collargate, allegedly, the rumor is, in the video, seems to show that he has a shock collar on his dog and he's training it. He's place training it, which means stay in your place. Dog trainers are upset because when you're place training, they're supposed to be comfortable in their place. The place is supposed to be their happy place. So they just want to stay there. And he's obviously just using the dog as basically a stream decoration. His dog is no different than this flag on my wall, basically. Right? He streams for 4 hours and the dog is expected to sit in its place. Don't move. You are a stream decoration dog. That's all you're there for. And apparently he had a shock collar on his neck and he was training it to stay in place with the shock collar. And he hit the damn dog allegedly, he hit the damn dog with the shock collar when it got up one time and people were pissed. You can support terrorism. You could say you want the streets to run with the blood of conservatives, not getting canceled. But you dang make your dog yelp on a stream? Oh, you're done for, buddy. You didn't learn? Remember that girl threw her cat? And everybody freaked out. Who was that girl that she tossed her cat and you never heard of her ever again? She was done for. I'm a stream decoration. You are a stream decoration.
You're a chat decoration, Chuck. Chow Lab Mix is legend. That's what I thought Echo was. I thought he had like some lab and some chow and like some border collie, or he was a mutt butt. Mutt butt. A mutt butt. What the? So let's watch this. Now, here's my. They're saying, or the excuse is, which just seems like a cover up. I think a lot of people, and even PETA said, we're not going to go after him because we don't actually know that he hit it with the collar. Maybe he just picked up the controller to show it. And then they say the reason the dog yelped is because its dew claw, the little extra claw, caught on the cloth from the bedding. Sounds like BS. It sounds like they're just trying to make an excuse. And it sounds like he probably sent a lot of money to PETA to be like, yo, PETA, run cover for me. And he sent him a big donation. But anyway, we don't really know that he actually shocked the dog, so I'll be fair. Journalistic integrity. But even if he did shock the dog, I don't care so much that somebody's using a shock collar to train their dog. And I think even dog trainers will say it's not that bad for them. But the issue is you're using your dog for a prop for your stream. And you just make it sit there. Dog wants to go get some water. Let the dog get some dang water. What are you doing? But we don't know how he treats the dog when he's not on stream. And the dog has no problem laying around for 4 hours. So, I don't know. I'm not super mad about it. Mad about it. I don't really care that much. I'm not like a big animal rights guy or anything like that. I'll eat a damn dog if it's the apocalypse. You know? But it does seem kind of messed up, and it is funny because the internet does not like. Remember the documentary Don't F with Cats? Shouldn't be turned up that high either. That's what I heard too. I heard that he had it set on a high setting. There's also, you see a light flash when the dog stands up, which means he's like activating it. And it looks like he pushes the button on the controller. So I think it's pretty clear there was no dew claw cover up. Or the dew claw is the cover up. I'm pretty sure he shocked that dog to make it sit down. And it looked really bad, and you do not mess with animals on the internet, you crazy bastard. Especially when you got this dog to use it as a stream prop, and now you're going to be electrocuting it during your stream. Bad look. It's a bad look. Let's watch this, and then we'll don't ever fuck with cats. Yeah. Bad idea. I think they care more about cats than they do dogs. You dang. And also, cats always land on their feet. Like, you toss a cat, it's fine. Nothing's going to happen to it. But that girl her cat was like playing on her keyboard or something. She grabbed it and threw it over her shoulder. Canceled. You're done for. You toss a cat. But the cat's going to be fine. You can toss a cat, okay? It's going to be okay. I saw a video the other day where a cat got sucked up into a tornado. And somebody in the comments was like, it'd be all right. They always land on their feet. That's messed up. Okay. Let's watch this, and then we'll go to the news.
A left-wing streamer is going viral for a moment that played out during one of his recent
This will have the video.
live streams, but not for the reasons he might want. People are accusing Hasan Piker of using a shock collar on his dog.
Look at him trying to look all GQ.
Kaya in order to keep her in the shot. The moment in question played out during a Twitch live stream on Tuesday.
But it is emblematic of all of America's much more consequential
See, he sees it out of the corner of his eye. So he can see himself on the screen. He sees movement out of the corner of his eye, and he's like, sit the fuck down.
violence, okay? It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop.
Okay, hold on. I want to see that in instant replay. Okay, Dewclaw.
America, Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop.
His dog's Dewclaw was not damn stuck on no fabric, okay? I actually have only seen this like on my cell phone and other, like when Easy was talking about it, I saw he played it a couple times, but I was at work. I wasn't really paying attention. This is my first time looking at this on a big screen and examining it. That damn Dewclaw was not stuck on any fabric. That is BS.
Reason as to why America.
Look, the Dewclaw is a higher claw. It's like it's an extra claw up higher up the foot, and it's sensitive. And I know Echo's claws would get stuck in the carpet sometime when he'd get up and he'd yelp. So I've seen this before. That's not what this is.
Kaya, please just fucking go.
And you see they say you see the light flash right there. But look.
Go, just stop.
Dewclaw was nowhere.
Reason as to why America, Kaya, please
One
just
more time.
Fucking go, just stop.
No, that was not a Dewclaw incident.
Stop.
And you see his hands moving. He's got something in his hand.
Jesus Christ, what are you doing? You're being such a baby. It's just you're making.
What's chat saying? No internet is violence. Oh my God, Kaya. Noises. Aw. Be nice to her. Be nice to her.
Her stressed.
Oh, she hurt herself. No, she didn't. He shocked her. He shocked her.
She just.
I'm reading his chat. I don't know. His whole chat's probably retarded.
Literally is so incredibly spoiled from my mom.
Kaya likes it there. Then why was she trying to leave? Also, I've said this a million times. Animals don't like cameras. Cameras give off. This is a theory. This is a theory, but I think I'm right. The reason wildlife photography is so difficult is because I think animals can sense cameras. I think they give off some sort of frequency. Wherever the frame is, there's some sort of frequency in that frame that is coming out of the camera. This is probably not true, but I believe it because Echo would like avoid the frame. He would literally sit. He would come right up to me, right up here, and put his head in my lap, and I'd pet his head. But he always would stay out of frame. If his eyes got anywhere in the frame, he didn't like it. You seen if I like picked him up, he'd start freaking out. Get out! Like, I think animals can sense camera waves. So forcing your dog to sit in the direct sight of the camera, I bet you that dog's uncomfortable because that dog can sense that dang camera and they don't like it. This is all a theory, but I think it's true.
Social media immediately went into a frenzy over the speculation about the extremely influential streamer, who is no stranger to stirring up hate, including calling Israelis inbred, saying it doesn't matter if
he supports terrorists.
Rapes happened to women during Hamas's October 7th, 2023 attack on Israel, and that America deserved the September 11th, 2001 terror attacks. But it was his moment with Kaya that sparked so much outrage that Piker's name...
Dude, all that. He said he wanted the streets to run with conservatives' blood. No biggie. He brought a Hamas terrorist onto his show and interviewed him and no pushback. Just, what's up, bud? Let's talk about death to Israel today. Let's talk about from the river to the sea. Have a nice day. No big deal. But you make your damn dog yelp? Oh, boy.
Became a trending search topic. This Hasan guy is torturing his dog for views. Please do something if you can. This is sickening, one user on X posted. OMG, I'm physically ill. Put a shock collar on Hasan.
That would be funny. That's what he needs to do. Some people are saying, if you want to make up for this, you need to put that shock collar on and let your chat control the damn shock collar. $10. I'll wear a super chat. $10 super chat. My thing automatically shocks me. It'd be like, never mind. I'm not gonna say that. Oh my God. I just thought of something funny, but I'm not gonna say it.
Wrote another. But it wasn't just social media users who were upset. Two of Piker's fellow influencers were also quick.
Okay, what's this dog expert got to say? I'm not watching this whole damn 12-minute video.
The internet is absolutely fuming right now from a Twitch stream that went on from a creator named Hasan Piker for allegedly abusing his dog live while on his stream. Now, of course, I thought who better to look at this situation, clear the air, and explain to you guys exactly what's going on. I'm a professional dog trainer. I work with behavioral cases, and I've been doing this now for over a decade. So I figured, let's see if Hasan Piker did the right thing, and maybe he should be held accountable, or maybe the internet is wrong about this. Let's go into this. I'm going to react to this right now. My team sent me this. I know nothing about this guy.
Now, I've already seen videos from other dog trainers who said what he did was wrong. I don't know what this guy's going to say, but if he says, no big deal here, then maybe he's just a Hasan, Hasan Glazer.
I know nothing about his dog. All I know a lot about is dog training, dog behavior. Let's get into it. His dog's behind him on a cot. She's like a chow mix. You can see her getting off here. He's annoyed.
Oh, but you stop.
Okay. Corrected her. She yelped. She went right back into a down. He's upset, obviously. He's being a baby. She's being a baby, I think, he or she. So
you're making her stressed.
Stress is sure.
So incredibly spoiled from and she needs to literally have the same structured, regimented.
Okay, I agree with everything he's saying. We're gonna get into all of this. This is very interesting, especially for people who don't know anything about dogs, who don't know anything about dog training, and if this guy's on the line of losing his career or being banned from Twitch, this is very, very serious. So from a dog training standpoint, and I'll give you guys context as well. I used to be an animal control officer, and so I used to literally go to court for the state of.
I don't know why people use the DJI mic to make videos. Like maybe they don't want a microphone in the shot. So they wear the DJI mic on their shirt, but you could have the mic out of frame and have your settings set up to where it still picks up your voice from far away. It looks worse to have a damn collar mic on, a lapel mic pulling your... Anyway, sorry.
Of New York to determine whether or not dogs have been abused, they've been neglected, they've been abandoned.
You would go broke shocking Hasan? Marilyn can't super chat anybody for a long time because she just spent $10,000 shocking the hell out of Hasan. Speaking of super chats, guys, look at this dono bar. It's not moving. It ends in 4 days, and it's low. Send some super chats.
So I am a very good person to look at this and actually identify what is.
Or send me some birthday Cashapps. It's my birthday coming up. I don't really even care that my birthday's coming up. The only reason I'm telling people is so that hopefully they'll send me all their money.
Actual abuse and what is not. And of course, my experience with dogs, I'll go into what's happening. And so dog gets off the cot. Obviously, he's frustrated because the dog gets off the cot. Now, from what he said at the end of the video, that the dog gets off the cot, goes out and chews on stuff. Again, we have to look at this, right? Okay. Yes, the yelp, nobody wants to hear. Inappropriate time correction at that level, right? The correction timing, I should say, actually was perfect. The dog got off, he corrected the dog. The dog said, okay, fine, let's watch it again. Reaches the e-collar, correct.
Reaches for the e-collar. Now, Hasan's saying he didn't shock the dog.
Dog said, holy crap. Guys, this dog has already forgot about this. And again, from an animal control perspective, again, we never...
The dog forgot about it like 10 seconds later. You have to work on your birthday? Yes. Yeah. I think my birthday's on a Thursday this week. Or no, maybe. Yeah, we'll do like a birthday stream Friday. We'll do VK, and then afterwards it'll be like a late birthday stream. I'll get like a cupcake or something.
Never want to see dogs yelp. But guys, I've put dogs on collars and leashes.
I'm going to get a cupcake and I'm going to put 38 candles in it.
And I've been talking to somebody like this, and the dog runs at the end of the leash, and they hit the end of the leash, they go, ah! And they do the same thing. So, and as a dog trainer, we make mistakes. We're professionals. We're trained with the tools that this gentleman is using, and things happen, right? So abuse is showing up to trailer parks, showing up to houses.
Dude, Echo would yelp sometimes for like, we'd be walking and another dog would be coming. So I'd say, stop. And I'd hold his collar. And as soon as I touched his collar, he'd like freak out.
Showing up to mansions and seeing dogs fight each other to the death because the owners are afraid to be assertive. Dogs who are putting holes in kids. Dogs who are hurting kids because the owners are not holding the dog accountable. That's abuse. Not feeding your dog for weeks at a time. That's abuse. Leaving your dog outside to die is abuse. Neglecting your dog. Throwing your dog outside of a car, a moving car. I've seen all these things. I've written reports for all these things. Yes, that would be abuse. So let's look at some of the comments people are saying. Responses from the world that I can react to. So the Observer, Uncle Mikey LA, he's lying.
No, I'm not going to keep watching this. I went grocery shopping this morning. And one of the things I was going to buy is my pumpkin. But I don't know what's going on at the Walmart where I shop, but they've been changing to electrical tags instead of paper tags for the prices. Which is like, it's always a mess there because they're changing all the tags in the whole store to these digital ones, which suck, by the way. They fall on the ground. It's stupid. Apparently, Walmart spent like $1 million per store to change all the tags to digital labels, which should save them. Allegedly, it's supposed to save them like $3.5 million a year due to theft because people switch the tags and then they complain about the price not being the right price. So they're switching it. Anyway, I don't know what's going on, but the shelves are all empty. I don't know if they're not like bringing trucks in at the same pace because this project that they're doing. But for some reason, I couldn't even get any. There was no hoagies. The bread aisle was like empty. I wanted some hoagies for my steakums. They didn't have no damn hoagies. But anyway, I had a pumpkin on my grocery list. And the boxes where they have the pumpkins, there was only like 20 pumpkins. And they were all the ones at the very bottom. There's like 3 boxes that are supposed to be filled with pumpkins. And when they first filled them, I was like, ooh, there's a good one. There's a good one. There's one good one. I said, I'm going to wait till I go grocery shopping. And I waited, and then when I went to buy my pumpkin, they were like garbage-ass pumpkins. All the bottom of the box pumpkins, there's like rot on them, and they're all caved in, and farmer's market kidding. Oh, yeah, I could do that. I wonder if they do the farmer's market on Saturday at the park, because that's pretty close. I got to find somewhere closer to get a pumpkin. That's kind of a good idea. But yeah, I need to get my pumpkin here pretty soon. But there weren't any good ones at the store. So anyway. Okay, close that. All right. Now let me fix this real quick. We got to go quick because I want at least an hour for this Jekyll Island stuff because we're going to watch some videos. Oh, man. This first one's funny. This one? Yeah. Hold on one second. I fired my producer, guys. So we got to do the production on the fly. I haven't seen any pumpkins. I haven't even seen pumpkins. Farmer's Market, Maryland. I can't remember if I saw any. I mean, they're at like Walmart in the grocery store. Dude, people, I don't know. Everybody, they make everybody hate America, so people don't even care about holidays anymore. They told everybody all the holidays were pagan, and there's not enough pagans, so we don't even celebrate the holidays anymore. It's ridiculous. These are Christian holidays. Halloween is a Christian holiday. People forget, man. Anyway. Albertsons. All right. Oh, wait. It's time for the meme. Dad, who's been trolling daughter by recreating her racy selfies, now has 2 times more followers than her. That's pretty funny, dude. If I had a daughter, well, first off, if I had a daughter, this girl looks pretty young. If I had a daughter who had a pentagram tattooed on her chest and was posting pictures like this on the internet, she would not be allowed on the internet. She would be locked in her bedroom for the rest of her life. But this dad has a funny way of solving the problem. He just recreates her pictures. That's pretty funny. And he's got double followers than her. Anyway, next. We got Vegeta pulling up to a prostitute. $200. I'll do whatever you need. Can you defeat Kakarot? All I want is for you to defeat Kakarot. Let's go, Vegeta. Kakarot! Might be henna. I think hers were real. I think Dad's were fake. Next. I took Adderall for the first time and I carved this pixelated avocado. This is what you would do on some damn Adderall. That's prescription math. It's like a Minecraft avocado. Next. Weird way to tell everyone you're not keeping it. Husband and wife go to a baseball game. She's pregnant. Showing off. By the way, pregnant ladies, stop showing off that dang belly. That's weird. That's weird. When girls are pregnant and they wear like tube tops and they're like got the belly hanging out at the grocery store, put that thing away. That's inappropriate. You're already turning your child into a dang fashion symbol. But she's got a baseball on her pregnant belly and he's got a baseball bat. I don't know if they thought about the optics for this one, but that looks pretty rough. Goodbye, baby. Next. There's the pumpkin. This is the Charlie Kirk pumpkin. Look. Okay, I understand this head section is going to be hard to hold in. I might have to connect it right here. But the tie is not going to be a problem because the tie is actually so close to over here. It's pretty much, this is pretty much going to be all one piece. I could actually have a little connector right here. And it's connected right here. The tie will be connected. So it looks like it's not going to work, but I'll make it work. There's the Charlie Kirk pumpkin. I love the maxi dresses showing off the baby bump. Baby belly bump. I don't know what that means. But anyway, next. I love to eat candy. I'm candy. What the? Happy Halloween, guys. This is what I'm going to be for Halloween. I love to eat candy. I'm candy. What the? Next. In Ghost of Yote, if Ghost of Yote made Atsu look like this, the game would have sold 1 million copies by now. Designed with gamers in mind, designed with activists in mind. Which one do you think the game chose? Which character, female hero in a video game, which character do you think they went with? Which model? It's this one. But gamers want this one. There's a difference. Can you see the difference? Next. This is a motherfucking cocoa felon. Look at this gangster baby throwing up the folk. Throwing up the folk, GD. This little folk baby. That's a cocoa felon. Instead of cocoa melon. Cocoa felon. Little gangster baby. He's got a 3-point crown on his head and on his shirt. Oh yeah, he's a little Crip gangster disciple. Next. Entering. Checkmate. Do you get it? This guy picked the stall. See, he could have went to this stall, and then each of them could have been separated by one stall. Because when you go to the bathroom and there's the wall stalls, and there's no walls in between the stalls, but the stalls are on the walls, you don't want to pee in the one right next to another guy. You want to go one over. This guy got the checkmate. He went to the 1-2 over. No, this guy has nowhere to pee without being next to a guy. If he goes here, 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 or here, all 4 stalls that are available are going to land him next to another man. Dang. That sucks. Good move, guy. Next. Grandpa wearing that nostalgia fit. Kit Kat Clan. We hate Snickers. I want that shirt. That's a funny shirt. Long skin tight dresses. All right, you're timed out, Marilyn. You're timed out. Bye. Okay. Next. I'll be damned. Reagan used to babysit Obama. Oh, no. That's not appropriate. Holy crap. Next. Black people food is so bland. That's racist. What the heck? Who's sending me all these racist memes, stubborn one? E-black. I don't have a E-black sound on my soundboard. Next. Israel is paying influencers $7,000 per post. Netanyahu referred this week to a community pushing out preferred messaging in U.S. media. And boy, are they making a pricey sum. So this is the new, this isn't really a meme. This is like a news piece. But they're saying that a lot of these influencers that are on X making all these posts about Israel are getting $7,000 per post. And Brandon Tatum made a video addressing it because he said something about Israel. And Nick Fuentes was in his comment section saying $7,000 has just been added to your account. And everybody's... Bryson Gray, I seen it on his. They're all always posting about Israel. And everybody in the comments is like, how's that? You get $7,000 for this one too? I'm like, how do I sign up? How do I get this $7,000? I love Israel. I am a big fan. Send me that check. Next. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. It's the Crusades. The Crusades are coming back. Crusades 3.0. Let's go. Next. I did 9/11. I invented usury. I promote racial mixing. I drone strike children. I teach your kids LGBTQ. I drink Christian blood. I produce pornography. I poison wells. I am a pedo. Who are they talking about? What is this meme talking about? I don't know. I'm not going to say who the rooster is because I don't want to lose my $7,000 check. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. Next. Pretty obvious which zebra believes in the Second Amendment. The one fighting the alligator or the crocodile? Okay, next. Whoever controls the media controls the mind. Jim Morrison. Who controls the media? I don't know. The media networks. Rupert Murdoch? I don't know. I'm trying to get $7,000. I don't know the answer to that. Next. Elon Musk, when he sees his name at the top of the list of the world's richest persons, trillionaires who paid not to be on that list. Dun, dun, dun. I don't have that sound effect. Wrong This one. Who are the trillionaires that are not on the Forbes list tonight on Unsolved Mysteries? Yeah, 7K would be nice. Next. He's starting to show symptoms of free will and independent thought. Quick, put the news on the TV. Darn. Next. Me highlighting all the conspiracy theories that have come true. It's all of them. They're all true. What the? Next. If you let politicians break the law in an emergency, they will create an emergency in order to break the law. Dang.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Next. Give up your pot to stop drug violence, but I don't commit violence. Welcome to the gun debate. Dang.
You ain't got the answers, man. I've been doing this more than you. You ain't been doing the education.
Bro.
Next. How to put America first. Do not put illegal aliens over Americans. No.
Beta.
Yep. Next. FBI embedded 275. This is from September 26th of 2025 in the Dallas Express. FBI embedded 275 plainclothes agents in January 6 crowds, Blaze reports, as House panel probes informants' roles. Conspiracy theories. I fucking told you so. I told you so. We were right again, boys. Who would have guessed it? Who would have guessed it? Next. Shark Week in Britain. Dang, that shark got a fucked up grill. What happened to your grill? I'm from the England, mate. In it. I'm from England, in it. Next. RFK Jr. is dumb. I trust real scientists like the ones that put arrows on the floor for us at the grocery store. I'm what's this dude say? I'm retarded. Next. I protested Trump today, mama. Ooh, who's my big boy? Let me feed you some Doritos. Good boy. Good boy.
Why are you gay?
Next. The majority of scientists agree with those who fund them. Did you know that? The majority of scientists agree with those who fund them. Facts. 97% of scientists agree that climate change is real. 97% of climate scientists agree that climate change is a real threat. Yeah, because if they didn't, they wouldn't have a job. Next. Please be courteous. I don't know if this is real, but it says, please be courteous to your Muslim neighbors. Many Muslims live in this area, and dogs are considered filthy in Islam. Please keep your dogs on a leash and away from the Muslims who live in this community. Boy, let me tell you what, this must be in Dearborn or something. I see a sign like that in my neighborhood, I'm tearing it up. I'm tearing it up. Next. God says, you have sinned. You must repent. And then this guy with this little hat and this weird nose says, what if I transferred my sins to a chicken and then kill it? God says, I don't know about that one. Is a chicken even considered a sacrifice-worthy bird? I think it's considered clean to eat in the Torah, but I don't think it ever says you could sacrifice pigeons. I don't think they were sacrificing chickens. I don't know where they got that from. Probably the Talmud. Next. Oh, that's it. That's the end of the memes. I wanted to get through the memes quick today, so. And we only have a couple funny reels. We have 2 funny reels. We have a little bit of what's it called? Rapid fire news. Not a lot. I'm going to try to get through this pretty quick because for the Jekyll Island stuff, we're going to have to watch some kind of dry videos. but you'll see. It's gonna be it might be boring to some of you, but I've been interested in it for a while, and so I want to watch it. Well, I think we only have 2 funny reels, 2 funny shorts to watch. Yep. But they're pretty good. I haven't watched all of this one yet, but I watched the beginning and I was like, that's funny. Is that a deer smoking a cigarette? Yes. All right, 1 second, guys. Okay. Let's watch some funny reels and then we will do the rapid fire news. All right. Happy Columbus Day, everybody. Happy Columbus Day. Not Indigenous Peoples Day. Oh, wait. This is a Columbus Day. Happy Columbus Day, colonizers.
Spread Eagle of the Idaho tribe, and today we're gonna. I'm Spread Eagle of the Idaho tribe, and today we're gonna go watch the guys hunting.
Yeah, woo!
Spread Eagle of the Idaho tribe. I'm Chief Beat a Bitch of the Slapaho tribe.
Let's go hunting, boys. Oh, shit.
He fell off his horse. They didn't have domesticated horses. I think one tribe knew how to ride horses, and they're like, oh my God, they could ride the horse sideways while they shoot a bow and arrow. None of the other tribes could even ride horses. They didn't know how to domesticate them. I don't even know if that's true that the Crow did that. Or I think they say it's the Crow. I don't even know if I believe that.
So what we after today?
We're after the damn foreskinwalker. He keeps giving dudes Indian burns in their teepees. Oh shit, he got me.
The foreskinwalkers. Wait, what? What?
They'll never know
He was covered in nut.
I'm the foreskinwalker because I'm a smooth criminal.
He's a foreskin walker, twisting fool, sneaks up jerking.
That deer was smoking a cigarette. Look, the deer's smoking a cigarette.
He's a foreskin walker, twisting fool, sneaks up jerking like a backwoods ghoul. You can run, you can shout, you're gonna learn, but you're still gonna holler. Fuck, it's an Indian burn.
Okay.
What is this? What is this? I haven't even seen this.
What's up, my neighbor?
What did you call me? Nah, I'm just messing with you.
My neighbor?
My neighbor? My motherfucking neighbor. Man, you wild, Fred. Come
You know, I was wondering, could I get the pass just one time, please?
Nah, Mr. Rogers. That's one thing I can't hand out, even in the neighborhood.
Fair enough.
But you still cool with me.
You know what, Pac? I think I'm ready to leave this white-ass neighborhood. So what's this game called again?
This shit here is Connect Four Loco. I win, you drink. You win, I drink.
Well, let's get neighborly.
Like this, chin tuck, step, pop the jab, bring it right back. Real simple. Slip, roll with it, then hook. All about staying ready, you never know.
See. And it helps you feel prepared in combat.
Exactly, Mr. Rogers.
It helps you feel prepared in combat.
It's thug life out here, Fred, dog. I got you.
Isn't that neat?
What the fuck we doing, Fred?
I'm not sure why the cameras are still rolling.
Okay. I got one more for you. I didn't plan on playing that one, but I'm glad it came up next because that's pretty funny. I did see Mr. Rogers and Eazy-E, but I didn't save it. Any fella who mistreats dogs is bad in my book. Okay. One last one. AI's getting wild, guys. Hold on. Let me fix this window. He's a foreskin walker coming down the road. Trump wants to be in the new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game. Did you guys hear about this? Check this out.
Evening, I'm Lisa Carter. The president drops a wild skateboard video, pushing to become a downloadable character in the new Tony Hawk Pro Skater game. Here's the scoop.
President Trump is going viral with his epic skate edit. He's throwing hammers, insane tricks that are wet, all to lobby for a spot as a DLC in the brand.
Insane tricks that are wet. The guy's like, man, he doing tail slides to tray flips off a 20-foot rail at the White House?
Brand new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Here's what one skater had to say.
The Prez landing kickflip backflips on a 20 set?
If he's DLC, I'm buying day one. Make it happen, Tony.
The 47th president's trading the oval for ollies, showcasing skills that could rival the pros in the game. Here is what he had to say.
Quite frankly, my tricks are tremendous. Some say the best they've seen, but they put these skaters in the game that look like illegals to me. Might have to deport them to get my spot, whatever it takes. And I'd love the
MAGA
White House
ramp.
as a park. I even built a huge MAGA ramp.
But the plot thickens as former President Joe Biden shows up to blow up the spot, claiming he should be the DLC while riding his scooter. Last time this happened, Trump called him a scooter fag, a jab that's still echoing in skate circles.
Scooter fag.
Could
I don't know why JP Uncut comes up after that.
Oh man, that would be a cool character. They got to get him in the game. They got to get him in the game. Okay, let's do some rapid fire news. Just a few headlines that we saw.
WordPress.com is professional.
I want to see this video actually. Video shows federal agent shoot Chicago pastor in the head with a pepper ball during Broadview ICE protest.
Video. This is out of Broadview, where a federal agent is seen firing pepper balls at protesters outside an ICE processing center, and one of those pepper balls struck
outside an ICE processing. She sounds so upset. This fake pastor's preaching at the protest, and cops just start popping him in the head with pepper balls.
a Chicago pastor right in his head. The footage shows protesters gathered outside the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility.
Look at him down on the ground. Please, we must love the immigrant. We must save the sojourner. Read your Bible again. If the sojourner doesn't assimilate, you stone them to death.
They appear to be peacefully shouting towards agents positioned right on the roof. Suddenly, one of those agents opens fire with
It popped him right in the forehead, right in the top of the head. His head started smoking.
a pepper ball launcher. One of the
Right in
projectiles
his
strikes
forehead.
Pastor David Black, a First Presbyterian church in Woodlawn, hitting him in the head. He's seen collapsing to the ground as fellow demonstrators rush to his side. In a response to this incident, the American Civil Liberties Union released a statement Monday saying Pastor
ACLU.
Black and other demonstrators are seeking an emergency court order to stop what they describe as the, quote,
Watch this.
illegal and brutal
Watch this.
suppression of their First Amendment rights.
Oh, they didn't show it again. I want to see it zoomed in slow-mo. It just goes, boom, pops right on his head. There's a video of Stephen Hawking riding yeah, I've seen it. There's a bunch of them. They're pretty good. So that's funny. More on what's going on. Some updates on the immigration, the protest stuff. DHS rips Houston. Are they going to show me an ad? Yep. DHS rips Houston Halloween display depicting hanging of ICE agents, demands sanctuary politicians stand down. Houston display features mannequins dressed as ICE agents hanging from gallows topped with Mexican flags. This is at like the police station? It's a Mexican and two ICE agents hanging. Second Ward neighborhood sparked outrage. This is in Houston. Wow. Wow. Whatever, you know, you got the freedom to do that. You want to do that, but you're an idiot. But, if you want to have your little Halloween display be some retarded liberal message, you can do that. We're just going to make fun of you. We're just going to make fun of you.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
And this is from Fox, by the way. There's a lady ICE agent. Anyway, Department of Homeland Security called on sanctuary politicians to tone down their rhetoric against U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers following the emergence of a Halloween display in Houston that depicts the hanging of agents. The display, located in the predominantly Hispanic Second Ward neighborhood of Houston, Texas, features multiple mannequins. Well, now we know which house to hit. 2 of the figures, dressed in red hats, black shirts, khaki pants, and black masks, are seen hanging from ropes around their necks on wooden gallows with a Mexican flag. Effigies of ICE agents dressed in black shirts and red hats were hung from homemade gallows with zip ties in their pockets, DHS said. The display, surrounded by coffins, barbed wire, and featuring a Mexican flag, was a mock execution ground. Following a weekend of domestic terrorists attacking federal law enforcement officers, the Department of Homeland Security is calling for sanctuary politicians in the media to tone down their rhetoric about U.S. immigration and customs enforcement law enforcement. DHS added, our officers are facing more than 1,000% increase in assaults against them, and their families are being doxxed and threatened online. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so that's that. What else we got? Disney, Halloween story for you. A creepy Halloween story for you. Disneyland guest. Disneyland is the one that's in California, by the way, the lame one. LA, Land, World, OR, Orlando. That's how you know the difference. There's a pneumatic device for you, so you can remember the difference. But LA is just like Disneyland is just like Disney World, almost exactly the same, except like half the size. It's like a tiny version of Disney World. Florida's way better than California. But I guess some lady died on the Haunted Mansion ride.
The man has been arrested on suspicion of...
That video has nothing to do with the article. A woman in her 60s died after she was found unresponsive after riding the Haunted Mansion attraction at Disneyland. This is from KTLA5, by the way. LA. According to officials, Anaheim and fire rescue crews were called to the park around 6:30 on October 6th for reports of an unresponsive guest who had just finished riding the Haunted Mansion. If you've ever been on the Haunted Mansion, there's a part where you're in the chairs and you go in front of these mirrors and there's like a ghost sitting in your lap. It's pretty cool. I actually like the Haunted Mansion ride. It's pretty fun. I always used to go on that when we would go to Disney World. But it's scary if you're a kid. This poor lady probably died with a ghost in her lap. She got frightened. She did. Orange County Coroner's Office will determine the official cause of death. Officials have not released. So there's a spooky Halloween story for you. We got a little video game news. I don't know if this is confirmed. It's from IGN. They're usually pretty accurate. Assassin's Creed, set during post-Civil War period, canceled last year due to increasing concerns over U.S. political climate. Report. Man, Ubisoft, you had a good idea. I got to take this jacket off. It's getting warm now. You had a good idea, Ubisoft, and you fucked it up. What are you going to make? Another woke freaking piece of garbage that nobody's going to buy? You could have done something cool. People like edgy. I've never been there, but it sounds fun. Is it like a paintball? The pepper balls? Yeah. That's what I was wondering, is I'd like to get shot by one to see if it hurts as much as a paintball. Getting hit by a paintball in the top of your head right here, it wouldn't be too bad. It's not too bad, but it'll wake you up, that's for sure. They have warnings for a reason, warnings on the ride. Ubisoft allegedly scrapped early plans for an Assassin's Creed game set during the U.S. post-Civil War period, a report has claimed, with the decision made primarily due to anxiety surrounding the country's current political climate. Dumb. Assassin's Creed Shadows. How's that game doing? Anybody played it? Is it lame? It's the Black Samurai. Anyway. I have no idea who this guy is, but it's nice to see when a pedo gets delito. Pedo delito is what we have here. Former Lost Prophets singer Ian Watkins. I don't even know who the Lost Prophets are. I've heard of the band, but I've never listened to them. I can't even think of a song from them. But apparently their singer was doing 25 years in prison. He's a convicted child sex offender, and he was killed in a prison attack from Breitbart. In London, British police have arrested 2 men on suspicion of murder after the former Lost Prophet singer Ian Watkins was stabbed to death at a prison in northern England where he was serving a 29-year sentence for child sex offenses. Emergency services were called to H&P Wakefield on Saturday morning after Watkins was attacked with a knife. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Murder investigation is underway. In 2013, Watkins pleaded guilty to 13 charges, including trying to grape a baby, sexually touching a 1-year-old, encouraging a fan to abuse her child, and making child pornography. Wow. And again, this is from Breitbart. We're reading the news from Breitbart YouTube. I even censored one of the words, but I shouldn't. I should just be reading the article as it's written. This is news reporting, and sometimes we're going to say some words that people don't like, but it's in the news. But good news is this creep is dead. See? That's what prison's for. You want to get rid of the death sentence? Okay, I'm fine with that. Let's just lock them up and not feed them. If they want to eat, they can figure out how to make their own food in prison. That way they just die quicker. Or you just put the pedos in Gen Pop and let the inmates handle it. There you go. We solved the problem. Now we don't have the death penalty, but they end up dead quicker. We're going to lock them up for life and let them die in jail. Let's just speed up the process a little bit. That's all I'm saying. We don't actually have to pull the trigger. We could just, just encourage it to happen a little faster. So good. This guy's dead. All right. And those are some crazy charges. 13 charges, including graping. That guy deserves to be dead. And that was in England. I don't think they have capital punishment, but it's good to see that the inmates over there are handling business, taking out the trash. We got a shooting this week. This is considered a mass shooting. I have a feeling that I'm going to read through this article, and we're going to be able to guess who the suspect was based off of the lack of information. Let's find out. 4 people were killed and 20 more were injured in a shooting at a bar in South Carolina, sheriff says. In the area of Dr. Martin Luther King Drive, in the intersection of Highway 21. Well, there's one clue. Martin Luther King Drive. There's one clue as to what kind of crime this was. No threat to the public anymore. It's unclear if anyone was hurt or if arrests were made. Well, now it's clear. Let's see what it says about the suspect. 4 people were killed and 20 more injured. Was it young partygoers? Was it youthful partygoers? Let's see. The Beaufort County Sheriff's Office said shortly before 1 a.m. on Sunday, deputies were called with several reports of a shooting at Willie's Bar and Grill on Dr. Martin Luther King Drive in St. Helena. At the scenes, deputies say they found a large group of people, some of whom had been shot. Were they wearing gang colors? Deputies learned that hundreds of people were at the scene when the shootings happened. Many victims and witnesses ran to the nearby businesses and properties to find shelter. Did somebody let the yopper sing? Did somebody hold the gun sideways like O-Dog and let the yopper sing? Is that what we have here? The way you could tell is when they don't tell you anything about the suspects, or they call them youthful nightlife enjoyers, young partygoers, the youths. Several victims were taken to the hospital. As of Sunday morning, deputies say they are aware of 20 people who were hurt during the shooting, 4 of whom were taken to nearby hospitals in critical conditions. 4 victims were reportedly killed at the scene. Sheriff's Office is asking with anybody about the information about the incident could call investigator Master Sergeant Duncan. The shooting remains under investigation. Okay. So we don't have any information on the suspects. Probably because they probably were just driving by. They were just driving by the club and maybe they saw some white people outside. Willie's Bar and Grill is probably maybe the white people's drinking hole, or maybe they were driving by and they saw people wearing the wrong color clothing. Maybe that area and that bar is known for specific activity from a specific group of people, and another group of people who have the same skin tone but wear different color clothing was driving by, and then they let the yopper sing. That's what it sounds like to me. I don't know. Youthful partygoers. Youthful partygoers. You know damn well what I'm saying. Why do Martin Luther King streets always get ghetto? Yeah, I know. Every state's got a Martin Luther King, and they're always ghetto. What else we got from USA Today? Oh, okay. Hold on. Is USA Today going to have this censored? Because I was scrolling through X, and I start seeing posts about the naked bike ride protesters. So now the ICE protests have turned into a nationwide call for naked bike riders to join in the protest. So Philly does this every year. They do an annual naked bike ride. It's ridiculous. The whole street in the city gets filled with dangalangs flopping around and titties out on a bike ride through the city. Every year Philly does this. Now they're calling for nationwide naked bike rides protests. So I'm scrolling through my X feed, and I see naked bike riders. And on X, it's like unedited. Hopefully USA Today, I don't even know if I should play this video. I hope they did real good with their censoring. But on X, it was not censored. And I saw a lot of dangalang and a lot of titties. Just people riding around naked on their bikes to protest immigration, to protest ICE deporting people. They ride around naked on their bikes. I think all of these people should be arrested with obscene exposure or lewd and lascivious or something like that, and they should all be put on a sex offender registry. That's what I think. Throngs of naked Portland bike riders offer a counter narrative to Trump's about hometown. What does that even mean? What is this? What do you mean? That doesn't make any sense. That headline did not make any sense. A counter narrative to Trump's about hometown. Is this about immigration? ICE? Counter narrative to Trump's about hometown. What's the solution? Ride your bike naked in the streets. Ew. Dude, I'm glad they've edited this because, well, he looks like he has pants on, but he's not for long. He's about to take his pants off. Old grandpas with dangalangs hanging out.
I don't really think anyone has any business invading our city with military, and I don't like people being scooped up.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ride my bike around naked. I'm actually just looking for an excuse to ride my bike naked.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men.
And I got news for you.
That means,
you're gay.
Nah, these people, anyway.
Got friends and family that live here, and it's a safe town. They're not needed, and we like it.
That dude's high as a kite, by the way. Christy Nome killed my friend. See how there's a lot of cuts? They can only show like 2 seconds of footage where there happens to be people with clothes on, because a lot of them had their clothes on. And it was raining and it was bad weather. But if you watch the full, like go to X and you see like a full video of it, it was a bunch of dangalangs and floppy titties out. Next vacation spot. Some were nude while others wore costumes. A lot were nude.
I've never done the naked bike ride, but I'm here because I feel like if I'm ever going to do it, this would be the reason to do it.
You're old. What do you mean? That's gross. Grandma? That's my grandma. What are you doing, grandma?
And because I think it is a cheerful, joyful way of protest.
That's true. You know who's packing. And I don't mean packing, they're packing a piece. You know there's no threat coming if grandpa's naked. But if they got costumes on, they might have a weapon. Federal judges blocked Trump's efforts to deploy troops twice.
WordPress.com is
Anyway. Oh my God. Come on, AP. Please don't have... Okay. You see in the background here, there's some dangling action flopping around back there. These people are retarded. What is going on in the world? The world's a crazy place. I just report on it. Okay, I don't know what else I can say about this. Speaking of protests, last little piece here. This Saturday, oh my God, I've been so busy with crap. We got Halloween coming up. I got a debate tomorrow. Saturday, Salt Lake City will be hosting No King's Day 2, another nationwide protest. Now, 5051 is the organization that organizes these all over the country. 5051 has severed ties with Utah, allegedly. So instead, this group, Indivisible, is going to be running the No Kings protest. But it's the same thing. It's just a different name because they don't want 5051 coming back to Utah because last time they were here, one of their peacekeepers shot and killed somebody. And so Indivisible is managing it in Salt Lake City. It's happening earlier in the day. Utah Capitol 11-1. I don't know what that means. 11 to 1 o'clock. So it's going to start at 11. It's going to end at 1. No King's safety plan. This is a peaceful demonstration. Please leave all weapons, including those legally permitted, at home. Don't engage with agitators or counter protesters. Stay with a buddy or meet someone new. Don't walk alone. We're not going to shoot you, you retards. Your own people are going to shoot you. If anybody shoots anybody, it's going to be your own people. We've already seen this. So they're not supposed to come armed. Now it's Utah. Somebody's going to be armed. And he doesn't.
So a couple of points to make about it. One is this isn't language that's been part of mainstream American politics before. When I was writing that article, I went back and looked at a few other eras in the last century to see if I could find anybody talking about vermin or poisoning the blood or comparing political enemies to insects. And I couldn't find it.
He's a dictator. He's a dictator. A lot of people are saying maybe we like a dictator.
Salt Lake Indivisible, which is basically just a new offshoot of 5051 because they ain't going to come here. So that's something. I'm going to go there. I need to get my sign. I'm going to go there with a sign that says, please don't shoot me. And I'm going to wear a MAGA hat. And I'm going to walk up to all the green vests and I'm going to say, hey, are you guys armed? Are you planning on killing anybody today? Please don't shoot me. I'm a Trump supporter. I'm here to exercise my First Amendment right, the same as you guys, but I don't want to be murdered. Are you guys planning on murdering anybody today? Please don't shoot me. Last time you murdered a guy. Are you going to murder a guy this time? Please don't shoot. Now, they're doing it earlier in the day, and I think it's going to be much smaller. They're going to gather at the Capitol, and I think they're just going to march down to Washington Park. which is it's like a mile they march and then it's over. Whereas last time they gathered at Pioneer Park and they marched all around the city, all around the federal building until somebody got shot and everybody went home. 2 people got shot. 1 person died. So we're going to find the peacekeepers and we're going to see if they plan on killing anybody at the protest. Hopefully, I don't get shot. Oh, man. So that's that. That's all the news I got for you. Now let's get to our little last segment. We got a little less than an hour, which should be good time. I got 2 short videos and then some things we can read through. So we're going to be talking about Jekyll Island, which is in Georgia. Apparently it's like a touristy place. You can go there, you can camp and stuff like that. But it has a secret history, which isn't really super secret. It's actually not hidden. This is well known. You can find it on Wikipedia. But if you go to Wikipedia and you search Jekyll Island, what you're going to get is this. Jekyll Island is an island located in Glynn County, Georgia, United States. It is one of the Sea Islands and one of the Golden Isles of the Georgia Barrier Islands. The island is owned by the state of Georgia and run by a self-sustaining, self-governing body. It was long used seasonally by indigenous people of the region, the Gwale and the Mokama. The indigenous people of the area, when Europeans first reached the area, were killed or forced to leave by the English of the province of Carolina, and their native allies, and by raids by French pirates. Plantations were developed on the island during the British colonial period. A few structures still standing are made of tabby, a coastal building material using crushed oyster shells. Have you ever seen a building made out of oyster shells? It's pretty cool. They look pretty cool. The island was developed in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. It was evacuated during World War II by the U.S. government. In 1947, the state of Georgia acquired all the property for security and preservation, a popular tourist destination. So the Horton House, let me show you guys. So you go to Wikipedia, you look at Jekyll Island. You know, there's a pier, there's a picnic area, there's a beach, St. Andrews picnic area, Jekyll Island Club Historic District, National Register of Historic Places. We talk about the history of the Indians, arrival of Europeans, English occupation, the plantation area, Jekyll Island Club, club's exclusivity. I'm trying to see if they mention anything about, here we go, the Aldrich. This is what we're looking for. Planning of the Federal Reserve System. So there's just one little paragraph about it here. There's one little paragraph in the Wikipedia section. At the end of November 1910, Senator Nelson W. Aldrich, and Assistant Secretary of the Treasury A. Pyatt Andrew, invited 5 of the country's leading financiers, Frank Vanderlip, Henry P. Davison, Arthur Shelton, Benjamin Strong, and Paul Warburg, to a private meeting at the Jekyll Island Club to develop recommendations for a central banking system that could respond to financial panics like the Panic of 1907. They produced a plan for 15 self-governing branches distributed over the country, overseen by a national commission that would coordinate policy. Aldrich later submitted his proposal to the National Monetary Commission without mentioning its origins, and a similar federated structure was included in the Federal Reserve Act. The Jekyll Island meeting was not disclosed until 1930, 20 years later, when Senator Carter Glass's claim of credit for the Federal Reserve structure prompted rebuttals from Warburg and other banking experts. So Senator Carter wanted to take the claim that he started the Federal Reserve, and they're like, "Yo, no. We did this at a secret meeting that we had on Jekyll Island." So this Jekyll Island story, there's a book called The Creature from Jekyll Island. Yep. And so this is the the author of the book, I believe. Oh no, this is so there's two books. There's one called The Creature from Jekyll Island, and then there's another one which I think is simplified, and it's called The Tuttle Brothers Meet the Creature from Jekyll Island. And he wrote the Tuttle Brothers one. Let me see if I look it up on Google real quick. Okay. So this is the bigger book. This is from G. Edward Griffin, The Creature from Jekyll Island, a second look at the Federal Reserve. The guy in the video that we're about to watch wrote this book, Connor Boyack, The Tuttle Twins and The Creature from Jekyll Island. You see these tentacles and this octopus and all the money? So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the birth of the Fed, the secret expedition that formed America's central bank. JP Morgan is involved. I'll just read this real quick. Just before Thanksgiving in 1910, U.S. Senator Nelson Aldrich of Rhode Island invited 6 members of America's banking elite to a covert retreat on Jekyll Island. This was before the first transcontinental call placed by the president of AT&T from a phone on Jekyll in 1915. It was before the internet and cable news. Secrets could be taken to the island, and secrets would stay there. Wishing to avoid public scrutiny and pesky reporters, the group dubbed the First Name Club, because no one used last names during the rail trip down, agreed on the cover of a gentleman's duck hunt. One attendee even toted a borrowed shotgun. Instead, they holed up for 9 days at the Jekyll Island clubhouse to discuss how to prevent another panic of 1907, when a run on banks nearly collapsed the United States economy. J.P. Morgan, a Jekyll Club member, personally bailed out banks, New York City, and the New York Stock Exchange. Out of those clandestine meetings emerged a draft of legislation that would eventually form the Federal Reserve banking system, the country's central bank network, and a financial safety net that remains in place today. It was absolutely an epic-making event, says the Jekyll Island Museum's Andrea Marroquin. The reward for their labors, a robust Thanksgiving feast and a day off for that duck hunt. So that's what we're talking about, is this secret meeting on Jekyll Island where they formed the Federal Reserve. The Creature from Jekyll Island, good book. You've read it? So that's what we're going to listen to this guy talk about.
So paint the picture. For those who don't know this story, what is this conspiracy theory and why is it true?
So Alexander Hamilton was the first one to propose a national bank. There existed several national banks that were wildly unconstitutional, but the very people who passed the Constitution said, okay, yeah, sure, we'll do this. They failed. They were shut down. Their charters weren't renewed. So there are always these banking experiments where the government was involved in kind of a central national bank, but they'd always failed.
And Britain had a central bank.
Right.
And if you remember, Mr. Mustache Man, during the H cost, what was his initial gripe? What was his initial complaint? Was that a certain group of people were taking over Germany through the use of centralized banking. That was his initial complaint. Now, maybe he was just saying that to gain popularity of the people, and he actually was just a crazy racist who wanted to kill a bunch of people. Maybe not. Maybe he saw a problem and he wanted to fix it, but he went a little crazy. He got a little power hungry and bloodthirsty, and it turned out bad. But initially, this was the issue. Certain people were setting up central banks all over the world, and they did it in America. Well, they had nothing to do with this. Of course they had nothing to do with this, but none of these guys were bagels.
Right.
They were maybe they might have been the first central bank, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, so coming out of the English.
Yeah, they had a lot of systems in Europe to look to by way of example, and that's why Hamilton was like, "Hey, we need one of those too. You can control, the production of money. You can control where it goes." And so those banks were eventually shut down and not renewed. And in the early 1900s, there were a lot of and there were a ton of banks, but they were all just private banks, little pop-up banks here and there, and a lot of them would fail because they didn't really have a lender of last resort. They didn't have bailout opportunities, and so it was a risky entrepreneurial enterprise.
Well, and I'll add one layer to that, which is in the Great Depression, there's something like 9,000 U.S. bank failures. And there was a Fed.
The 7 men that were at Jekyll Island for this meeting represented 1/6 combined. They represented 1/6 of the world's wealth at the time. So 7 guys had 1/6 of the entire world's wealth, and they all met up on this island for 9 days secretly. And one of them tells a story about it, and it sounds like they were like on drugs or something. They were doing some weird stuff. I'm trying to find Paul Moritz Warburg, a German Jewish immigrant who was one of the founding fathers of the U.S. Federal Reserve, had a fervent wish that his creation would be seen as one of America's great moments. Warburg's dream that the Fed would become a cherished American institution has never looked more in doubt. The Federal Reserve, which was enacted by Congress in 1930 and set up shop the following year, is today an institution under siege. Paul Moritz Warburg. Where's the list of names? Paul Warburg. Warburg, a German-English immigrant. Now, Wikipedia just says a German-born American. But this website that I'm looking at was a German-Jewish immigrant. Warburg. Also, they Americanized their names to fly under the radar. So all these names, probably slightly different names originally, but they, they want to cover up, the truth.
Already. There was 0 in Canada. And the reason for that is that people think, oh, well, we needed the Fed because there was all these bank failures and that run the 1907, financial crisis.
Right.
JP Morgan had to bail out.
I'm going to play this. I've already listened to this. I was listening all night to videos about this. I actually have they have the full book on YouTube, audiobook form, if you're interested. It's like 5 hours long. I'm going to run and get some coffee while this plays.
The Treasury, and that's crazy. And America has always had a weird banking system in which basically state-level cronies, kind of like car dealerships, actually. Car dealerships are structured like this. They have like these weird local monopolies.
Yep.
You couldn't have a bank. You couldn't even have branches in a state in most states, and you couldn't have branches across state lines, which means banks in the U.S. were very, very fragile because what was a lot of the lending? A lot of the lending at that time was agricultural. Okay, we're planting our seeds. We need money. We need to borrow money at the start of the season to plant our seeds and to get through until we have harvest. And it turns out the weather affects all the farmers. So if you're a local bank and you've lent to all the farmers and then you have like extreme drought or a failed crop, they can't repay you and you go bust. Yeah. And that was happening all the time.
Yeah.
And this was not a failure of the free market.
I got cinnamon flavored coffee creamer. I never tried it before. I got some. It's pretty good. I also got eggnog. It's that time of the year, ladies and gentlemen. Eggnog is back. You like eggnog? I like eggnog. Sorry.
This wasn't like, well, that's why we need blah, blah, blah. It's like this was a very peculiar government-created fake crisis. And
yet who got the blame?
Well,
not the government, not the policies. It was the market, right? The market is too volatile. This is a problem. The 1907 panic is exactly the backdrop of this situation. And of
Oh, dang. Easy's doing his debate. He keeps doing his debates on Monday, and I can't watch him. I got to go back and watch him.
course, the bankers want, like any industry with all their protectionism, sitting at the top perch of their industry, they want to be bailed out. They want securities. They want guarantees. They want to socialize their losses and make everybody else pay for them while they can concentrate those benefits.
And there's one other component to this. I happen to be a geek on this one. William Jennings Bryant, there is like this really like a populist at the time, and is part of this free silver movement. There is a rural.
What is the free silver movement? They ain't giving you free gold. I know that. Not the Goldbergs. They ain't giving out some free gold. Free silver movement. '19th century. Free silver was a major economic policy issue in the United States in the 19th centuries. Expansionary monetary policy featuring unlimited coinage of silver into money on demand, as opposed to strict adherence to the more carefully fixed money supply implicit in the gold standard. Free silver became increasingly associated with populism, unions. Sounds like
no offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook
of ordinary Americans against bankers, monopolists, and robber barons of the Gilded Age. Hence, it became known as the people's money. Supporters of an important place for silver in bimetallic money systems making use of both silver and gold, called silverites, sought coinage of silver dollars to a fixed weight ratio of 16-1 against dollar coins made of gold. Because the actual price ratio of the two metals was substantially higher in favor of gold at the time, most economists warned that less valuable silver coinage would drive the more valuable gold out of circulation.
Urban divide here too. So one of the things that motivates keeping the banks all sort of protected is this fear that, oh, the big New York banks will just run the whole show and we'll all be sort of subject to big New York centered banks. So that was one of the other things going on there, was this sort of populism that made things worse, even if you could sort of understand it. Like, people have hated bankers forever. It goes back to the Bible and usury laws, and there's always been ignorance, basically.
But
Bible and usury laws. Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because this is why the creature from Jekyll Island was born in such secrecy, because it was the big money, it was the New York bankers, it was the politically connected banking cartel that designed the system that we have today. So what happened was you had Senator Nelson Aldrich, who
he's being very careful with his words because he knows what he's saying, but he can't say it.
Who was over the finance committee, and he wanted to create a central bank. He wanted to say, oh, we're going to fix these market inequities and volatility, and we're going to have this one bank. So
thank you, Amanda.
So he had this fancy train. He says to all these different bankers and their designees, their associates, come meet me on this train under assumed name. Do not use what your name is. We're going to go on a duck hunting trip. So wear appropriate attire to fool so that the reporters don't recognize you. You're just going to be all kind of dressed up, and
take your monocles off.
Yeah, exactly. Put the camera
no top
aside.
hats, guys.
Exactly.
Come on.
And so he says, use an assumed name. We're going to keep this out of the papers. We don't want anybody to know. So they all end up on this train car. Not even the servants know what's going. Like, everyone is kind of kept in the dark. And so Aldrich and everybody, they take the train down to Jekyll Island in Georgia, where there was this swanky resort. Still exists today. I went there a few years ago. Not swanky by today's comparisons. And J.P. Morgan owned like half the resort. And so these guys went there and kind of had accommodations for the week, where they hold themselves up in a room and they architected in secret this system that became the Federal Reserve. Of course, they had to go convince Congress, and they had to get a public vote. So it's not like the entire thing was a conspiracy. The conspiracy was who the actors were, how they were involved, and what they were trying to foist on the public using kind of propaganda talking points about why we need this. but it was these bankers and politicians in a room that said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to construct this central bank. It will be the lender of last resort. We're going to bail out other banks. We're going to have this system of privately owned banks across the country, this network that all the banks can have shares in. And so it creates this kind of like incestuous cycle where the banks are bailed out by the banks of which they're a part, and they can print their, like, it's just this genius. I mean, if you're a banker and a politician that wants access to easy money that you can just, print and inflate to support your big budgets, it's a genius system. And it was passed by Congress in 1913. This is,
and we know who the geniuses are.
Woodrow Wilson.
One of his many
What's cracking? Oh, you're gonna love this, Freddie. I know you're gonna love this. We're talking about the Federal Reserve and the creature from Jekyll Island, the octopus of Jekyll Island.
Fantastic. Oh gosh, he was a great president, right? So let's just run down the list of
Woodrow Wilson. That guy was a real jerk.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Woodrow Wilson
income tax. 17th, so that's 16th Amendment. 17th Amendment, removing states from appointing who the senators are. Yeah, so that
I told you guys, every amendment after the Bill of Rights, every amendment after the 10th Amendment, get rid of it. Get rid of all of them. 19th, 23rd, 16th, 17th, all of them. 13th, you going back in chains.
Lost state representation in the Senate. World War I, Federal Reserve.
Resegregating the federal government.
Yep.
He was, in a sense, he's like the spirit animal for the modern technocratic elite. I think in a very real sense, I remember Hillary Clinton at one point said, I'm a Woodrow Wilson progressive, which really needs to be properly understood, because what is this? This was an academic that didn't even win they didn't even win a majority. He only got in because there was a split vote with, I think, Teddy Roosevelt or a splinter party, and just comes in as a utopian that thinks that we need to have a kind of Princeton educated managerial class running the show, and proceeds to do stuff like create the most undemocratic institution in the United States, the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
Among all these other atrocities.
Think of the income tax, right? These reforms are always introduced as the most benign and modest of reforms. Like the income tax, everyone was convinced, oh, this is only going to be on the basically the top 1% type people, and it'll be this very minimal tax. We just, and it's always just that camel's nose in the tent where you get something like the Federal Reserve or you get something like the income tax, and it's justified as this minimalist thing, but then the foundation is set and they just build on it from there. And
they did a great job right away, though, right? So it's not 1913, then immediately start printing money like crazy for World War I, cause a boom and bust, and then screw up in the opposite direction and create a Great Depression. They did a great job.
I've had a book concept. There's a genre called what's it called? Like historical fiction. Like, what's the one where they go back and it's the Nazis actually won World War II?
Oh, The Man in the High Castle.
Man in the High Castle, right?
Deeply upsetting TV show to watch.
Very,
and then Stephen King did the one where dude went back to stop JFK's murder, I always forget the date, 1760, whatever, 12, 15, 17, something. Good book, great book, good show too.
And but there's a genre of fiction that goes back in history and they change something and then you fast forward and you kind of see the impacts. And I've long thought about doing a book.
No, Amanda, it's YouTube doing it. It's not me, it's not you. We can't change it. YouTube keeps doing it. It's weird.
Where there would be some time travel component to it, and you go back to 1910, 1913, the dawn of the progressive era, Woodrow Wilson, the Federal Reserve, income tax, 17th Amendment, all these things that we're talking about. What would it look like to go back in time? And I mean, one aspect of the story is you just assassinate the right people and then, hope nothing happens.
A little more morally dubious.
Yes. So the more morally appropriate one is, what if there was like a Ron Paul Revolution style awakening back then? What if you could go back and create this kind of uprising for individual freedom and get people to see the writing on the wall, to push back on the progressive agenda? What would today look like, fast forward over 100 years, if we did not have the income tax, if we did not have the Federal Reserve? We think we're a prosperous culture. I think the size of the government would be much lower. I think the prosperity and innovation would be much greater. The wars would be far fewer, which means we'd have more humans, which means more ingenuity. And it's so fascinating to think. The utopians that we've been talking about, the Francis Bellamy's and the Horace Manns and all these guys, like they fashion themselves as utopians, or the collectivists and others. But man, I think like how much better could the world be if we did not have all these policies in the past that we've had? I don't know that I'll ever write the book, but when we talk about Woodrow Wilson in 1913, I often kind of think, man, the world could be so much better, different in a good way today had we not gone through all that and laid those foundations that FDR built on and everyone after him.
If you like that clip,
two of the worst, FDR and Woodrow Wilson. Maybe worse than probably, I mean, we don't see the effects of Obama and Biden until much later we're going to see, but Woodrow Wilson, FDR, not good guys. Nope, bad president. All right, so that's the author of the Tuttle Twins and the Creature of Jekyll Island. Now we're going to watch this guy's video. This guy's very dry. Shout out Professor Barth. He's very dry. It's not super entertaining.
They won't take their underwear.
We started watching this in another stream a while ago, but we're going to watch it today.
22nd, 1910. Nelson Aldrich and a group of top financiers in the United States went off in seclusion and in secrecy to a small island off the coast of Georgia called Jekyll Island. Jekyll Island. At Jekyll Island, there was a club, Jekyll Island Club. The co-owner of the club was none other than J.P. Morgan. And in fact, J.P. Morgan arranged for this facility to be used at the meeting. The Rockefellers and Vanderbilts were also members of the Jekyll Island Club. And here were the attendees. Now, you see Aldrich there. And if you watch some of our previous videos, you will recognize a few of these faces. There's Benjamin Strong. There's Paul Warburg. There's Henry Davison. There's Frank Vanderlip. Who are these men? Well, filled with Morgan and Rockefeller financiers. There's Henry Davison, senior partner at
Morgan, Rockefeller,
J.P. Morgan and Company, Charles D. Norton,
Wells Fargo,
at the First National Bank of New York, which was in the Morgan orbit, Benjamin Strong, who we talked about in a previous lecture, Bankers Trust of New York. He was a partner of J.P. Morgan. Paul Warburg, who we also discussed, represented Kuhn Loeb, currently director of Wells Fargo. Frank Vanderlip was the CEO of National City Bank of New York, which today is Citibank. That was Rockefeller dominated. Nelson Aldrich, well, father-in-law to John D. Rockefeller Jr., Republican, and head of the National Monetary Commission, and then a university economist. Altogether, these 7 men represented one quarter of the world's wealth.
Okay, well, the thing I read to you said 1/6 of the world's wealth. He says 1/4. Regardless, they had a lot of money between all of them. A large chunk of the world's wealth was in one building at one time, planning on how to control the world through the banks. The octopus.
So just highly concentrated amount of power and wealth meeting at this island. And the meeting happened in total secrecy. So much that it's a bit amusing to read about. This was an age of muckraking journalism, and Nelson Aldrich was terrified that the press might get wind of this meeting, because if the press found out about who was at this meeting, Jekyll Island, and what they were doing, hammering out the plan for a central bank, there was no way in this era of trust busting and skepticism of the money power, there was no way that Aldrich's plan would ever succeed in the court of public opinion. And so Aldrich had to keep it very hush-hush. And so the official cover story was, oh, this duck hunting expedition. And the attendees took just super elaborate precautions on the trip there and back. They boarded a train at Hoboken, New Jersey, heading down south. It was a private railroad car in the cover of darkness. They used code names on the train. Took just, again, extra precautions, make sure reporters weren't around, so that they might be able to preserve their secrecy. They ended up staying there 10 years and hammered out 10 days and hammered out their plan. By the way, in November of 2010, the Federal Reserve held a 100-year anniversary conference at Jekyll Island, Georgia.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
Seems fishy.
After the Jekyll Island meeting, the founder of Forbes magazine, one of the greatest business magazines in the world, the founder, B.C. Forbes, was one of the first reporters to detail the Jekyll Island meeting, including how the attendees got there. And he gave everything I just described, detailed. He looked into it. He described it as the, quote, strangest, most secret expedition in the history of American finance. The real birth of the present Federal Reserve System. Bertie Charles Forbes, 1916. And
the strangest, most secret expedition in the history of American finance. The real birth of the Federal Reserve System.
And he was right. It was a very strange, very secret expedition. I think sometimes when people first hear the Jekyll Island story, it just sounds so conspiratorial, and there's a reluctance to maybe believe it because it sounds like it's from a novel. But it happened. It happened. It's a verifiable fact. All the details I just described, and it was verified later also by the attendees. Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction, and you can understand why they wanted secrecy. The fact of the matter is, if the public had gotten wind of who was there, the Aldrich plan wouldn't have stood a chance. And so, you know, if you wanted to achieve the establishment of a central bank, you needed some secrecy. And a bit later, Frank Vanderlip reflected on Jekyll Island and had this to say:
"This is weird.
I enjoyed it as much as I have ever enjoyed anything else. I lived during those days on Jekyll Island at the highest picture of intellectual awareness that I have ever experienced. It was thrilling."
I have a feeling they were doing some weird drugs and they were doing some weird sex stuff too. That's just, I don't know that. That's not provable. But the way this guy talks about it, I enjoyed it as much as anything I have ever enjoyed anything else. The highest picture of intellectual awareness that I've ever experienced. It was thrilling. It was thrilling to sit at a table and talk with bankers. Like, how thrilling is that? I think they were doing some weird stuff too. Some dang rituals. You know what I'm talking about.
Frank A. Vanderlip, CEO of Citibank. Well, Aldrich leaves Jekyll Island, and he has his plan now ready. And in January of 1911, a few weeks later, the National Monetary Commission releases their long-awaited report. And the report says, quote, "We have no provision for the concentration of the cash reserves of the banks and for their mobilization and use wherever needed in times of trouble. Experience has shown that the scattered cash reserves of our banks are inadequate for purposes of assistance or defense at such times." What does that mean in layman's terms or English? We need a lender of last resort. We need some sort of institution to mobilize these reserves and resources.
A lender of last
panic.
resort.
The system, in short, is way too decentralized. Our banks also lack adequate means available for use at any time to replenish their reserves or increase their loaning powers when necessary to meet normal or unusual demands. So that's the problem, according to Aldrich and the National Monetary Commission. What's the solution? This is the solution. They say, what we need
Shut up, Dean.
A national reserve.
If the president gets mentally unstable, you just vote him out in the next election, the same way we do right now. Term limit has no effect. What you just said means nothing about term limit. That doesn't say anything. The president could get mentally unstable and unfit to lead. Yeah, that already happens. So then you vote him out at the next election, or you 25th Amendment him and you replace him with the vice president. We already have stop losses for that set up. That's not an argument against term limits.
Association, a National Reserve Association that would oversee
or for term
regional reserve centers. And those regional reserve centers would be all throughout the country. And they would oversee the banking system.
Also, that's not on topic.
Print a single paper currency and act as a lender of last resort. Aldrich said this about his plan. It is not a bank, but a cooperative union of all the banks of the country. And so Aldrich submitted this plan for National Reserve Association to Congress. This is a bill essentially for a banker-run central bank. All of the officials of the National Reserve Association were to be appointed by banking executives. Okay, no government appointees at all. This is a banker-run central bank called the National Reserve Association. Aldrich was very careful to avoid to avoid calling it a central bank, as he saw in the previous slide. This is not a bank, but a cooperative union of the banks, because that word central bank, many people still felt very uneasy about it in the United States.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, this is pre-World War II, by the way. So Mustache Man is going to see this happen in America first. America was the trial grounds for, well, actually they did it in England first, and then they did it here. And then it started to spread to Germany, and he didn't like that.
And nonetheless, lender of last resort, a single paper currency run by the banking industry. That is the Aldrich plan.
And I bet the plan was to have a worldwide centralized banking system. That's still part of the plan, I think.
William Howard Taft, the Republican president, comes out and supports the plan, urges Congress to pass
Some call him
the
Daddy.
Aldrich plan. The American Bankers Association also endorses Aldrich's plan. But something bad had happened for Aldrich in November 1910, just prior to the meeting at Jekyll Island. Democrats won the congressional elections, right? It wasn't a presidential election, it was the by-election, or excuse me, the congressional election, 1910.
Are you done already?
Yeah, bro.
How?
AI
took over the House, and this stalls Aldrich's plan. Aldrich is a Republican, and now his plan, the Democrats don't like it.
Nobody's calling you daddy.
From the Democrats' perspective, this is just nakedly pro-banker, right? This is a pro-banker plan. Now, they didn't know about the Jekyll Island stuff, but you didn't need to know about Jekyll Island to look at this plan and see that, if you're alarmed about the money trust, that this is not an adequate solution. And so Aldrich's plan is stalled, and he wasn't even able to introduce the bill until January 1912. And in that interval, he was lobbying and trying to get the votes necessary in order for the plan to pass, but does not succeed. This is an anti-Aldrich.
There it is. The Octopus Aldrich plan. Syndicate, private, association, national. I can't see what that one says. The Coming Money Trust. The Octopus
plan cartoon of the time, the Coming Money Trust. The Coming Money Trust. Boy, if you thought you had a money trust before, just wait. This National Reserve Association Aldrich has devised is going to make the current money.
And you see, so the octopus has his tentacles in all the aspects of everything. Anything that money goes through, the octopus has its tentacles in. And all the money goes into the reserve and gets dumped into Wall Street.
Money trust pale in comparison. Look at this. National Reserve Association, private syndicate, the Octopus Aldrich plan. And what's he doing? He's got the whole systems of government, the White House, the Treasury, the U.S. Capitol, the bank, the factories, the just the ordinary home, and he's just looting the whole country and pouring all this money into what? The New York Stock Exchange, Wall Street. This is the Wall Street plan. And in fact, a Republican, member of the House of Representatives, Charles Lindbergh, who represented Minnesota. This is not the Charles Lindbergh who flew across the Atlantic in 1927. That was his son. This is Charles Lindbergh Sr., Republican from Minnesota. And Charles Lindbergh raised the alarm about this bill. He said, quote, "The Aldrich plan is the Wall Street plan. It means another panic, if necessary, to intimidate the people. Aldrich, paid by the government to represent the people, proposes a plan for the trust instead." Charles Lindbergh uses his position in Congress and his influence in Congress to call for a probe of the money trust. And in 1912, the Democrats in the House, led by the House Committee, or the chair of the House Committee on Banking and Currency, his name was Hasan Piker, who's a Democrat from Louisiana, convened a special committee to investigate J.P. Morgan and the money trust more generally. This committee concluded that J.P. Morgan had secured a de facto monopoly of the New York banking system, and that there was indeed a money power, that there was indeed a money trust. Morgan was called in, scrutinized by this committee.
Bro, how many watches does this guy have? He's got like 3 stopwatches and like a bunch of different chains on his dang shirt.
Many famous exchanges between the committee and Morgan during this investigation. And the investigation concluded, after looking into things, they found that the officers at J.P. Morgan and Company also happened to sit on a board of directors at 112 corporations. Think about that. The officers at JP Morgan Company also sat on the board of directors of 112 corporations whose market capitalization amounted to $22.5 billion, $22.5 billion. And this was in an age where the total capitalization of the New York Stock Exchange was $26.5 billion. So in short, they found that there is a money power, there is a money trust, and Morgan in particular is the most dominant power in this. This was a magazine cover critical of Morgan's control over Wall Street, over big finance. But the Pujo report didn't just pick on Morgan. They also singled out Benjamin Strong, who was one of Morgan's biggest partners. They also singled out Jacob Schiff and Paul Warburg. All of these men, they said, have created a system that doesn't work for the good of the public, but works for the benefit of an oligarchical few. Now, Morgan, when he was testifying before the committee, was in ill health. He actually passed away on March 31st, 1913. So Morgan only lived so long. And actually his friends blamed the Pujo committee, the intensive hearings, as responsible perhaps for Morgan's death in 1913. This is a Democrat cartoon. It says Dem House going after the Satanic Money Trust. The Satanic Money Trust, chasing them around the stump of politics.
Style starts with the details.
All right, shut up, ads. This is Professor Barth,
Democrats
by the way.
defeated.
His YouTube channel is called Professor Barth. He's a smart guy. He knows stuff. This is from 4 years ago.
The Aldrich Plan in 1912. Democrats defeated the Aldrich Plan in 1912. Oh, it must be over. That's all, right? Well, no, that's not all. That's not all. Aldrich Plan failed, but the basic skeleton.
Yeah, they're doing that new like half screen pop-up ad thing where they run the ads while the video's playing over the chat. I've seen that. Yeah, they better be paying me extra for that.
Will not. There's a presidential election in 1912.
All my things get yellow check marks, which is they like cut what your AdSense is in half when you get a yellow check mark because they say it's not safe for advertisers. But they'll still run advertisements. I just don't get paid as much for them because I said something edgy.
The Democrats run Woodrow Wilson. Now, Wilson just so happened to be good friends with Frank Vanderlip of Citibank, and their friendship went back many years. In fact, Wilson had friendships throughout much of Wall Street. Now, Wilson, a Democrat, campaigned against the Aldrich Plan, but he didn't really give much of an alternative to what he would like to see instead. Wilson said this during the campaign.
That's why we need those super chats. That's where the majority of my YouTube income comes from. Memberships and super chats.
Any institutions arriving from banking reform must be, quote, public, not private. It must be vested in the government itself so that the banks must be the instruments, not the masters of business. But, you know, what does that even mean exactly? He didn't give any precise details. The Democratic platform in 1912, the official party platform, said this: we oppose the so-called Aldrich Bill of the establishment of a central bank. We believe the people of the country will be largely freed from panics by such a systematic revision of our banking laws as will render temporary relief in localities where such relief is needed, with protection from control or domination by what is known as the money trust. So they said what we need is an institution that is not controlled or dominated by the money trust. That's the solution. Okay, we oppose the Aldrich Bill. We oppose this idea for a central bank run by bankers. The platform continued: banks exist for the accommodation of the public and not for the control of business. All legislation on the subject of banking and currency should have for its purpose the securing of these accommodations on terms of absolute security to the public and of complete protection from the misuse of the power that wealth gives to those who possess it. That's a Democratic platform. Short on details. Short on details. Well, Wilson wins this election. He becomes president in March of 1913. Over the summer, negotiations take place in the House and in the Senate. Into the fall, there's the electoral map, by the way. Quite a victory for Wilson. Quite a victory for Wilson.
Crazy that Woodrow Wilson. Look at how much states Woodrow Wilson won. This is why they say there was a party swap. Like Texas went blue, Florida was blue, everybody was blue. Utah always been red. it's gonna turn. They're trying to turn it blue now, but and look how the electorates are divided in California. So green, Roosevelt was, No, wait, Wilson. Woodrow Wilson. Was he a Democrat? Gotta be. It says blue. He was a Democrat, yeah.
Taft had competition there from Teddy Roosevelt. And on December 23rd, 1913, Woodrow Wilson signed into law the Federal Reserve Act. And we will take a look at that in the next part of our video. See you there.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the origins of the Federal Reserve, the secret meeting on Jekyll Island. That's where the octopus comes from, the creature from Jekyll Island, the centralized banking system, where it started. Somewhere between 1/6 and 1/4 of the world's wealth sequestered into a secret club where they all went secretly and were maybe doing some weird rituals and stuff. God knows what they were doing there. But they set up the Federal Reserve, which led to all sorts of problems. Woodrow Wilson gets elected. And then commie gobbledygook.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
All right. But that is that, guys. It's 9 o'clock. I gotta leave for work in 15 minutes, so I need to get ready. I'm gonna send you over to Speakeasy if I can figure out how to do my raids now. I have to freaking move the window, change the size, click on this thing, open this up, click on this. We'll send you over to Speakeasy's debate. He's probably done debating. He's probably going to be doing the open panel by the time we get there, because this started a while ago, I think. I'm probably going to rewind and watch the debate. So I'll be in the chat, but I'm not going to be able to comment on what he's saying live because I'm going to be watching it from behind because I do want to see this debate. Speaking of debates, I got one tomorrow night. Same time this show starts. It'll be like 6 to 9 Mountain Time, which is 5 to 8 Pacific Time, 8 to 11. I think the debate's supposed to end by, it's going to be like an hour and a half debate and then questions and stuff. It'll be like 2 hours. But if he does a panel afterwards, I'll be able to hang out on the panel for like an hour, but then I'm going to have to go to work. But we'll be debating, should all currently illegal drugs be legalized and regulated? And I am, of course, the negative. Teriak is the affirmative. So he's going to be arguing that we need to legalize all the drugs. I assume he's talking about America, even though he's not in America. Unless he's talking about the whole world. I don't know, but we'll find out. So make sure you can watch it here. And then I'll raid you to Speakeasy channel. Or you can watch it there. I don't care either way. But my people, watch it over here. And then I'll send you over there when I have to leave for work. But yeah, that's the plan. Should be an interesting one. I got my opening ready. And I got some questions. I got some comments. I did a lot of research. We did a lot of prep for it. So I should be ready. Teriak's a weird guy when he debates. He's going to come with something crazy. And I might just, I don't know. My game plan is if he makes some crazy argument, I'm just going to like make a one-line rebuttal. And then I'm just going to try to pin him down on my points the whole time. And I'm going to turn it into me being the affirmative. I'm going to affirm the negative. And he's going to have to deal with my arguments because I'm not going to play into his game if he does some weird argument, because I've seen him do this in debates, and then people get all caught up on whatever weird argument he makes. If he does something like that, I'm just going to address it and move on. And I'm going to say, now you deal with this. What about this? What about this? You deal with these things that I'm saying. I don't care about what you're saying. You're saying some crazy stuff. That's my plan. That's my game plan. But we'll see how it goes. Sometimes he's actually good faith informal debate. Sometimes he just comes up with some wild stuff. And his wild stuff might actually be a good argument, but I'm not gonna let him get me all twisted with something like that, because I'm crazy too. I can come up with some crazy stuff too. So that won't work on me. But anyway, God bless you guys. Thank you for watching. The world's a crazy place. I just report on it. This has been the Dreaded Conservative Show. Monday night, kicking the week off right. If you like it, tell a friend. If you hate it, tell everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. God bless. I'm out. Peace. All right. See ya.